Monsoon rains trigger floods and landslides across Nepal. 2 killed in Kalikot district. Authorities urge caution. Nepal completes largest ever data migration. Personal details of over 10 million Nepalis transferred to new passport vendor. 213th Bhanu Jayanti being celebrated, commemorating pioneer poet's contribution. Speaker Ariel lauds his role in raising literary consciousness. Heavy rains and flash floods in Bangladesh leave 51 dead. Most fatalities reported in Cox's Bazar Rohingya refugee area. At least 28 killed after fire engulfs a bar in Thailand's Bangkok. Electrical fault in air conditioner linked to the accident. And FIFA I-64 Team World Cup expansion chief Infantino says move to allow more nations to chase global glory. Good evening, I am April Singh Lama and this is NTV World Primetime News. We're coming to you live from Kathmandu at 1900 hours Nepal time. Elsewhere, it's 13:15 in London, 22:15 in Tokyo, and just after midnight in Sydney. Now the news in detail. Nepal's Department of Hydrology and Meteorology has warned of possible flash floods in small rivers across several districts over the next 3 days as heavy to very heavy rainfall continues in many parts of Nepal. The department says Kathmandu Valley, including Kathmandu, Bhaktapur and Lalitpur, along with nearby districts, remain at high risk of sudden flooding due to intense rainfall. The department also has issued alerts for dozens of districts, including areas in Koshi, Bagmati, Gandaki, Lumbini and Madhya provinces, where heavy rainfall could trigger flooding and landslides. Authorities have advised people to remain cautious while traveling, especially on roads near rivers, landslide-prone hills and flood risk areas. Travelers have been urged to check weather updates, avoid unnecessary movement during heavy rain, and follow safety instructions issued by local authorities. Meanwhile, widespread rainfall has been recorded across the country, including the Kathmandu Valley, with some areas experiencing heavy to very heavy downpours. Makwanpur, Gadi and Myagdi recorded the highest rainfall in the past 24 hours at 121 millimeters, followed by Sunsari with 117 millimeters and Udaipur with 106 millimeters. Kathmandu's Chandragiri rain station recorded 93.6 millimeters of rainfall. The department said monsoon winds combined with a low pressure system near the Tarai region are driving the current weather pattern and warned that rainfall intensity could increase further. Meanwhile, 2 persons have died after being buried in a heavy rain-triggered landslide in western district of Kalikot this afternoon. The deceased have been identified as 46-year-old Mandir South and 76-year-old Lal Bahadur South of Sani Triveni Rural Municipality 6, according to the district police office. In other news, floods and landslides triggered by continuous monsoon rainfall have damaged homes, washed away bridges and disrupted transport links across several parts of Nepal. In Kaski district, a flood in Kimrung Khola in Annapurna Rural Municipality 11 caused the water level of Madikhola to rise, damaging riverside properties. A house and hotel belonging to local Dilip Gurung on the border of Annapurna wards 8 and 10 were completely swept away, while a restaurant owned by local president Jaganpun was damaged. The flood also washed away a section of the new bridge Gandruk Road, cutting off access to the popular tourist destination of Gandruk. A suspension bridge along the Annapurna trekking route was also destroyed, disrupting movement for local residents and domestic and international tourists. Meanwhile, monsoon-related damage has caused widespread disruptions on major highways. The Kaligandaki corridor in Baglung, which was blocked by a landslide at Gaganekhola in Jaimini Municipality 8, reopened after about 8 hours of debris removal. Traffic has again been halted along the Karnali Highway in Kalikot after a landslide blocked the road section at Gaganekhola in Suba Kalika Rural Municipality, Ward number 1. And in Ilam, a section of the Mechi Highway between Gola Kharka and Rajdwali has been completely closed after heavy rainfall caused the road to collapse. The closure has disrupted connectivity between Ilam, Pachthar and Taplajung, with Chapa leaving many vehicles stranded near the Mai River. Alternative routes have also been affected after floods washed away diversions over the Jogmai and Pua rivers, further restricting movement in eastern Nepal. Authorities across affected districts have warned travelers to remain cautious, avoid unnecessary journeys in high-risk areas and follow updates as monsoon conditions continue to impact roads and highways across Nepal. Now, Nepal's Prime Minister Balendra Shah has instructed to immediately forward the plan for the establishment of a well-equipped burn treatment center in all 7 provinces. During the meeting with vice-chancellors of various health science institutes convened at the office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers today, Prime Minister Shah issued directives to forward necessary plan to upgrade burn wards in major government hospitals. Prime Minister Shah also asked the Vice-Chancellor for effective implementation of the arrangement of providing at least 10% services of the OPD service of private hospitals in a subsidized rate in order to expand health services for the access of citizens from poor financial background and who are helpless. We're going for a short break here. More news coming up. Do stay with us. You're watching NTV World Primetime News. Welcome back. Nepal has completed a historic data migration, largest ever in history, by transferring the personal details of over 10 million Nepali nationals on a go. As the new Germany-based company printed e-passports come into use, the data migration from the earlier French company to the new vendors marks first ever data migration in such a large volume. Here's a report.
Nepal enters a new phase of immigration data following the successful completion of data migration of more than 10 million Nepalis. The migration was done as part of e-passport printing and procurement deal from the earlier French company to a German company. With the rollout of the German printed e-passports, the transfer of records for more than 10 million Nepalis who had previously obtained passports printed by the French company has now been completed. This is Nepal's largest ever successful data migration, transferring the passport records to nearly 10 million Nepali citizens to the new system. The government of Nepal signed an agreement with a German company to procure and print 6.4 million e-passports over the next 5 years, and the new distribution has started under that agreement. Meanwhile, the department has started the distribution of the new e-passports beginning Monday. According to the department, the new ones are resistant to tearing, water damage, and scratches, making them significantly more secure than the existing ones. The new e-passports are embedded with a digital chip that securely stores the holder's personal details.
The new company's passports, the features that we have now, that seems more secure and more strong. For example, if you try to tear the old passport with a blade, it is not so easy to tear it with a blade. And the second thing is the use of cotton. In every pages of the passport, there is almost 50% use of cotton, and that makes the passport more safe. Even if you leak some water on it, it will not make it wet. And also the national identity card number. Previously we would use the citizenship number, but now we have started to use only the national identity card number, and even the people can feel because it has some tactile features.
The department says the new system will eliminate tedious paperwork and make passport verification faster, safer, and more efficient. Unlike before, applications now need not upload copies of their citizenship certificate and national identity card while applying for passport. Instead, providing the national identity card number will be sufficient. The Department of Passports currently has a stock of 6.4 million e-passports, which it says is sufficient to meet demand for the next 5 years. The department receives between 5,000 and 6,000 passport applications each day, and it says it currently has the capacity to issue passports to meet the entire demand.
Now, the 213th birth anniversary of Adi Kavi Bhanubhakta Acharya is being commemorated today through various programs organized by the Nepali community, both at home and abroad. Born on Asar 29, 1871 BS of Nepali lunar calendar in Nepal's western Tanohu district, Bhanubhakta is celebrated as the first poet of Nepali literature. He played a vital role in fostering national unity through language, literature, and culture by producing timeless literary works. Bhanubhakta made an immense contribution to Nepali literature and cultural identity by emotionally translating the Ramayana, originally written in Sanskrit, into the Nepali language. His version of the Ramayana continues to be recited in households across the country, often in a melodic and rhythmic form. Bhanubhakta was famously inspired by a humble grass cutter who encouraged him to do something meaningful that would leave a lasting legacy. Among his other notable works are Prashnottar, Bhaktamala, Ram Gita, and Badhu Siksha. Meanwhile, Speaker of Nepal's House of Representatives Dol Prasad Aryal has said Bhanubhakta Acharya, the pioneer poet of the Nepali language, literature and culture, was not just a poet but a voice of Nepali soul. The speaker stressed the need for everyone to commit themselves to further enriching the Nepali language and literature in recognition of the immense contribution of Bhanubhakta Acharya, a national luminary.
आजको दिन हामीले भानुभक्तलाई सम्झनु मात्र होइन उनको योगदानलाई आत्मसात गर्दै नेपाली भाषा र साहित्यलाई अझ समृद्ध बनाउने संकल्प लिन आवश्यक छ। आधुनिक प्रविधि, विश्वव्यापी प्रतिस्पर्धा र बदलिदो सामाजिक संरचना बीच पनि हाम्रो भाषा, संस्कृति र पहिचानलाई जोगाउन र उन्नत बनाउन हाम्रो सामूहिक जिम्मेवारी हो।
Now, vehicles parked outside the main gates of 3 major media organizations in Kathmandu this morning caused disruption and prompted concerns among media officials. The entrances of Online Khabar in New Baneshwar, Himalayan Television in Mid Baneshwar, and Kantipur Media Group in Tinkune were blocked after vehicles were left in front of their gates. According to eyewitnesses and media officials, the drivers left the vehicles after parking them at the locations. The obstruction prevented journalists and other staff from moving vehicles in and out of the premises, while also led to traffic congestion in parts of Kathmandu. Meanwhile, the ruling Rashtriya Swatantra Party has expressed serious concern over suspicious vehicles being parked outside the offices of various media outlets, saying such activities aimed at creating psychological pressure on journalists violate democratic values. Issuing a statement, RSP General Secretary Bipin Kumar Acharya said placing unidentified vehicles outside media houses was an unacceptable act intended to intimidate the press. The party reiterated its commitment to press freedom, citizens' right to information and independent journalism, stating that any attempt to interfere with media freedom, create fear among journalists or weaken the role of the press as the fourth pillar of democracy would not be tolerated. Now, a local government in Nepal has launched a citizen oversight campaign aimed at improving transparency and public participation in development projects, offering a model for community-led monitoring of public infrastructure. Tulsipur Sub-Metropolitan City Ward number 11 in Dang district of Lumbini province introduced the initiative titled Let's Go See Our Villages development, inviting residents, elected representatives and political leaders to inspect completed projects across the ward. Ward Chair Man Bahadur Rawat said the campaign allows citizens to directly observe development works, assess their impact and strengthen accountability in the use of public resources. Local officials said projects are being implemented based on community priorities despite limited resources, with key focus areas including roads, bridges, education and healthcare. The initiative reflects participatory governance as communities are given a direct role in monitoring public projects, leading to enhancing transparency and public trust. Time for a short breather again. We shall be back with more updates. At least 51 people have died and more than 1 million affected by heavy rainfall in Bangladesh in recent days. Thousands have lost their homes as flash floods and landslides hit large parts of the country, including the capital Dhaka. More than half the deaths so far have occurred in Cox's Bazar, home to a large Rohingya refugee population. Bangladesh is a low-lying country that has many rivers and often sees heavy rain and floods during its annual monsoon season. But experts warn that climate change has made rainfall more intense and more frequent. The heavy rain began more than a week ago, and as it intensified in recent days, authorities issued warnings about floods and landslides, evacuated families in high-risk areas, and postponed student exams. Now, a huge fire tore through a bar in Bangkok late on Sunday, killing at least 28 people and leaving 25 critically injured. The blaze started near the stage of the bar in the popular Chatuchak district, then spread rapidly, cutting power and engulfing the room with smoke, according to eyewitnesses. Firefighters who arrived at the scene just after midnight quickly extinguished the fire. They found the bodies of most of the victims in a bathroom where they had apparently sought shelter. Preliminary investigations by Bangkok's Disaster Mitigation Department suggest the fire could have been caused by an electrical short circuit in an air conditioner, though no official cause has been given. In other news, the U.S. says it has hit dozens of Iranian military targets in response to Iran hitting commercial ships in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian media reports explosions in several parts of the country on Monday after the U.S. military says it struck air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missile and drone capabilities, and small boats. In response, Iran says it targeted U.S. bases in Jordan, Bahrain, and Kuwait, plus radar systems in Oman. Bahrain accuses Iran of targeting civilians. Last week, Donald Trump said the U.S.-Iran ceasefire was over, adding that Iran's leadership were scum. Shipping in the Strait of Hormuz seems to have showed to almost a standstill, according to tracking data, with just 2 vessels seen sailing through the crucial waterway. Meanwhile, Iran says it is continuing talks with mediators from Qatar, Pakistan and Oman in an effort to prevent any further escalation in its war with the United States. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baghei also added that Tehran would use all means at its disposal to defend its national interests.
ما برای تأمین منافع ملی و امنیت ملیمون از هر ابزار و روشی که لازم باشه استفاده می‌کنیم. میانجی‌ها بله کارشون تداوم مساعی جمیله برای جلوگیری از تسعیر تنش هست و طی این روزهای اخیر هم با هم قطر هم با عمان که خب ما جلسه ای رو برگزار کردیم و هم با پاکستان ما در ارتباط بودیم و این تماس‌ها ادامه داره.
A South Korean court sentenced former President Yoon Suk-yeol today to 2 years in prison for illegally receiving free opinion polls in exchange for political support, adding to his growing legal woes. 65-year-old Yoon is already in detention while appealing against a separate life sentence for leading an insurrection through his declaration of martial law in 2024. In a separate case, a court handed Yoon a 30-year prison sentence for sending drones into North Korea to manufacture a crisis ahead of his martial law bid. Monday's ruling was unrelated to the martial law decree. It concerned allegations that he received free opinion polls between 2021 and 2022 in exchange for supporting a candidate seeking his party's nomination in a parliamentary by-election. We have more from the international front, but before that, let's take a short breather. The European Union suggests a gradual, phased approach to children's and teenagers' access to online platforms, following recommendations from an expert report. President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said that a world in which big tech continued to have unrestricted access to children would only consign another generation to greater mental harm.
Here, so if we start with the youngest, toddlers, no screens at all. Then children under the age of 13, access to social media only under the supervision of parents, caregivers, teachers, and time limited. And then from the age of 13 on, and that's very important, there's a gradual access depending on the proof given by the platforms that they are age appropriate and safe for teenagers.
Russia and China have begun the Joint Sea 2026 naval exercises in the Yellow Sea, according to footage released by Russia's defense ministry, as the two countries deepen military cooperation amid heightened geopolitical tensions. The annual drills held since 2012 involve naval fleets from both countries operating near China's coast and underscore the growing strategic partnership between Beijing and Moscow. The exercises come as Russia continues its war in Ukraine, with closer military ties between the two powers drawing scrutiny from Western governments. The maneuvers also highlight expanding defense cooperation between the two nations as they seek to strengthen coordination in the maritime domain. About 30 people have gathered at terraced rice fields in Mai Prefecture, central Japan, for an annual scarecrow-making event. Maruyama is a scenic agricultural landscape in Kumano City where more than 1,300 rice paddies wind across a mountainous area. It has been named one of Japan's top 100 terraced fields. A program to help paddy field owners preserve the beautiful landscape has been introduced. The owners and their families fashioned 9 scarecrows by putting used clothes on wooden frames and stuffing them with straw. They completed their creations by drawing faces of their own choosing. A large-scale copper artwork jointly created in southwest China's Yunnan province was officially recognized by Guinness World Record as the world's longest variegated copper bas-relief. Now, measuring approximately 32 meters in length, the bas-relief was crafted over 166 days by a team of 68 artisans using the nationally recognized intangible cultural heritage technique of variegated copper craftsmanship. The work replicated the famous Chinese hand scroll painting along the river during the Qingming festival by the renowned artist Zhang Zedong from the Song dynasty. Variegated copper bas-relief is a traditional metalwork art form native to China's Yunnan. Time for sports update. FIFA will assess plans to expand the Men's World Cup to 64 teams after the 2026 tournament, President Gianni Infantino said, following what he described as the success of the expanded 48-team format. Infantino said the review would examine how a larger tournament could be organized to ensure greater global participation, arguing that every nation should have the opportunity to compete for a place at the World Cup. The FIFA chief said the quality of teams worldwide was improving and that increasing participation could encourage smaller football nations to continue developing. He pointed to the performance of African teams in the expanded 2026 tournament as evidence of the benefits of broader inclusion. FIFA expanded the World Cup from 32 to 48 teams for the ongoing 2026 edition, with the new format allowing more countries from different regions to take part. With this, we come to the end of this edition, but before we wrap up, here's a quick reminder of the headlines. Monsoon rains trigger floods and landslides across Nepal. 2 killed in Kalikot district. Authorities urge caution. Nepal completes largest ever data migration. Personal details of over 10 million Nepalis transferred to new passport vendor. 213th Bhanu Jayanti being celebrated, commemorating pioneer poets' contribution. Speaker Arya lauds his role in raising literary consciousness. Heavy rains and flash floods in Bangladesh leave 51 dead, most fatalities reported in Cox's Bazar Rohingya refugee area. At least 28 people killed in a fire in Thailand. Electrical fault in air conditioner linked to the incident. And FIFA eyes 64-team World Cup expansion. Chief Infantino says move to allow more nations to chase global glory. That's all for the moment. Our next bulletin will be at 2200 hours Nepal time. Do join us through our social media and get the latest updates from our official website, nepaltelevision.com. Thank you for staying with us. Have a wonderful evening ahead.
Welcome to the studios of NTV World in Kathmandu. Public Service Broadcasting, PSB Nepal's new initiative to make Nepal more visible and audible to the global audience. Welcome on board.
This is NTV World, facts that speak, insights that matter.
Telling the stories of a changing planet. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Exploring the heartbeat of Nepali creativity. This is NTV World.
The power of story shaped by technology. NTV World.
Unearthing Nepal's hidden heritage. Discovering the timeless Nepal.
Telling stories that endure across centuries. Where culture breathes, stories bloom.
When the world moves, we make a sense of it. NTV World.
Taste of Nepal. Every recipe, every flavor tells the story.
Journalism in the digital age. Fast, focused, verified.
Stories hold power. Stories reflecting life. Stories of the hinterlands. Reporting for NTV World.
This is NTV World. Welcome to News Hour.
This is NTV World. Welcome to Primetime News.
One story at a time.
Crossing borders, connecting voices, where Nepal meets the world in dialogue. This is NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Voices that connect Nepal to the world, bringing perspective, region and relevance to every story. NTV World, Nepal's perspective to the world.
Stand by. Mic is on.
3, 2, 1, cue.
We are NTV World.
What if I told you a story of a place shrouded in mystery and steeped in stones? A place where warriors were born and raised and their path through the mountains still remain to this day. Ajirkot, Gorkha, the unbeaten kingdom.
हामी पाहुनाहरू आउनु हुँदाखेरि हामी यसरी स्वागत गर्छौं अनि अलि-अलि नाचगानहरू देखाउँछौं मेरो सिंहो नेपाल गाउँकी गोरखामा गर्व लाग्छ जन्मिएछु साथै स्वर्गमा म त नेपालकी छोरी भन्छन् गोरखाली
जस्तो घाटु चुड्काहरू भन्ने चाहिँ विशेष गरी हुन्छ यहाँ
For those seeking a luxurious escape, there are stunning lodges that offer an indulgent retreat amidst the rugged beauty of this place. But for the true adventurers, this place has it all, from trekking through dense forest of Nagepokari trails to exploring ancient temples and learning the rich history of the region. So, what do you fancy? Are you the solo explorer, or do you prefer luxury within nature? Or perhaps you are the one who seeks to witness it all. Well, after all, life is a box of chocolates, and this place is filled with surprises. Welcome to the place where magic and reality intertwine, where the wonders of nature are both breathtaking and awe-inspiring. From the elevations of 300 meters to a towering 8,000 meters, this place will leave you mesmerized and in awe.
In the high mountains, where the air thins and silence deepens, an ancient discipline endures.
More than art, this is meditation in motion. A prayer woven into canvas, finding the divine within. This is Thanka.
Thanka भने चाहिँ त्यो समतल भूमि भने हो के हैन त्यो स्पेस भने हो त्यो रेसिममा पनि तपाईले सेतो गणमा स्पेस देख्यो हैन हो त्यसमा चाहिँ का लेख्ने भने चाहिँ बुद्धको वचन लेख्ने भने हो के त्यो बुद्धको वचन बागल चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ शुद्ध छ हैन राम्रो छ त्यसले चाहिँ मानव जीवनलाई चाहिँ कल्याण मानव जीवनलाई मात्र नभएर प्राणी जगतलाई नै चाहिँ कल्याण गर्ने चिज हो थाङ्का त्यही भएर चाहिँ जीवन जिउनेसँग चाहिँ रिलेटेड छ भनेर भने हो त्यो चाहिँ पञ्चतत्वको रूपमा चाहिँ त्यो चिनाएर त्यो तत्त्वलाई त्यो ठाउँमा जानुपर्छ भनेरको यो त आशयको रूपमा चाहिँ लगेको हुन्छ
Thanka painting is more than art. It's devotion on canvas, rooted in Buddha philosophy, traditions, and shaped by centuries of Buddhist influence. Each stroke tells a story of enlightenment.
This is not from painter's own mind. This is from the book. So painters, they have to strictly follow the rules. Through meditation, we can understand our true nature. And when we understand our true nature, we understand everybody. And our true nature is compassion. Our true nature is wisdom. And when we practice these things, we find peace, and that peace is permanent.
Thanka painting is not merely creation. It is consecration, rooted in Buddhist philosophy and perfected through centuries. Each brushstroke carries the weight of a mantra, each color a fragment of enlightenment.
खाइबा भन्छ हामीले चाहिँ आर्टिस्टलाई त्यो खाइबाले चाहिँ किन आएर चाहिँ ढोग्यो भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ तीनचोटी ढोग्यो नि त्यो शरण गमन गरे हो के म बुद्धको शरणमा छु भन्ने हो त्यो चाहिँ बुद्ध चित्त उत्पात गर्ने भन्छ के चित्त तपाईको शुद्ध हुनु पर्यो हैन त्यो शुद्ध भएर लेखेको थाङ्गाले चाहिँ अरूलाई पनि राम्रो गर्ने पनि सबै प्राणी हितको लागि चाहिँ यो मैले गरेको लेखेको बुद्ध वचनले चाहिँ उहाँहरूलाई चाहिँ राम्रो होस् भन्ने आशाका साथ चाहिँ छोड्नु पर्छ कि हो यसरी चाहिँ लेखेको हुन्छ थाङ्गा चाहिँ
The Thanka is a visual sculpture, a spiritual map to transcendence. Every artist begins not with imagination, but with surrender to discipline, devotion, and compassion for all living beings. To paint is to meditate. To complete is to awaken. In today's studios, the old and the new converge. Tutors like Sushan Subedi introduce curious travelers to ancient grammar of lines and color.
All of the painting you are seeing over here, so these are known as Thanka, which is a Tibetan word which means the painting that is painted on a cotton surface. Okay, so first of all what we do is, we just take a normal cotton like this and we stretch it on a wooden frame very hardly and very tightly. Okay, so while tying it very hard on normal cotton, what happens is there are some millions of tiny holes. So if you pour the color can bleed. So we cannot do the painting on a normal cotton. So we have a process, we call it the process of canvas.
While at nearby workshops, artists like Sonam still lose themselves in the ritual of creation.
यो चाहिँ बम्बई ड्याङ कटन जुन यसैबाट चाहिँ हाम्रो ट्रेडिसनल आर्टको चाहिँ थाङ्का फर्स्ट प्रोसेसिङ चाहिँ यहीँबाट हुन्छ सरेस भन्ने गरिन्छ हामीले यो चाहिँ खासमा र याक स्किन भनेर चाहिँ प्रयोग गरिन्छ पहिलेको त्यो हिस्ट्री हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अनि अब यो चाहिँ हाम्रो चाहिँ माध्यम चाहिँ यो ग्लुको काम गर्छ यसले चाहिँ यो र हामीले चाहिँ माटो मिसाएर चाहिँ यसमा पानी लगाएर अब यसको कति मात्रा उ गरेर तताइसकेपछि चाहिँ अनि अब हामीले कत्रो क्यानभस बनाउने कतिवटा बनाउने त्यो हिसाबले हामीले यो सरेस माटो भनिन्छ त्यो मात्र मिलाएर हामीले प्रोसेसिङमा जानु सकिन्छ। हामीले चाहिँ यो क्यानभस बनाउँदाखेरि समयअनुसार मौसम अनुसारले पनि बनाउनु पर्ने हुन्छ। घाम लाग्ने बेलामा बनाउनु सक्यो भने हामीले छिटो आफ्नो कामहरू छिटो छरिदो बनाउन सकिन्छ र झरी पर्ने बेलामा चाहिँ हामीलाई निकै समय लाग्छ। त्यसले गर्दाखेरि यो घाम लाग्ने बेलामा हामीले बनाउनु सक्यौँ भने छिटो अनि यसलाई आफूलाई चाहिने मात्रामा पटक यता दुई साइडमा चाहिँ क्लिन सफा गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ अनि कतिको मात्रा हामीलाई चाहिन्छ त्यो पुगिसकेपछि हामीले त्यसपछि स्केचमा जानुपर्ने हुन्छ। यो सुकिसकेपछि चाहिँ एउटा यसरी पनि हामीले चेक गर्न सकिन्छ हामीले कतिको तयारी भयो भएन। यो आवाज आउनुपर्ने हुन्छ। जस्तै अब ओसिएको छ भने बेग्लै आवाज आउँछ, सुकेको छ भने राम्रो आवाज आउँछ। यो
Thangka painting begins with the canvas stretched tight, once upon wood, now upon iron frames. The glue that seals it, once drawn from the yak, now sourced from the maple or synthesized in a lab. Yet in the scent of drying paste, the artist still reads the readiness of the soul of the painting.
So after the sketching is done, second thing we do is the coloring. So while coloring, we have different levels of artists in our school. Like from the beginner level, we have intermediate and the master level of artists. So if you go with the beginner intermediate, they use the acrylic colors. But if you go with the master level of artists, so they use the stone colors like this. Okay, so why they use the stone color is stone being a natural color. So while we apply this sort of color in the art, it remains for the longer period of time because natural thing, it doesn't have expiry date. Yeah, so the meaning and the philosophy of an art, the art itself, it is preserved for the longer period of time. So that's why they use the stone. And for the finishing of an art, so we use 24 karat real gold on the painting. Okay, so why we use the gold is not to make the painting very expensive, but if you see in Hinduism, in Buddhism, gold it is signified as in purity. So to purify the meaning and the philosophy behind the art, so we use 24 karat real gold.
Every line follows a rule, every proportion holds meaning. The face of the deity isn't imagined, it slowly reveals itself, guided by sacred patterns that keep harmony between the world outside and the spirit within. The colors come from the earth, crushed stones and minerals mixed with glue, made to last for generations. Lapis brings purity, malachite speaks of compassion, and cinnabar carries wisdom. These are just colors, they are prayers in pigment.
प्राचीन कालमा चाहिँ यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ पाँचवटा कलर लेख्ने हो। पाँच कलर जस्तो अग्नि तत्त्व, वायु तत्त्व, माटो तत्त्व, हावा तत्त्व, पाँच तत्त्वले बनाएको हो। त्यो पाँच तत्त्वले किन बनाएको भने त्यो पाँच तत्त्वबाट हाम्रो शरीर बनाएको छ नि। यो थाङ्गा भनेको चाहिँ वास्तवमा के हो भने जे जति थाङ्गामा त्यो हामीसँगै छ, जे हामीसँग त्यो थाङ्गामै छ। त्यसकारण त्यो बेला चाहिँ त्यो नेचुरल, हामी पनि नेचुरली बनाएको नि त, प्रकृतिले बनाएको नि, थाङ्गा पनि प्रकृति नै हो। त्यसमा अलिकति चाहिँ कलर के छ भने पाँचवटा कलरमा हामीले मिसाउँदाखेरि अर्को कलर बन्छ। त पाँचवटा कलर मात्रै पुग्दैन। त्यो बेला त्यो रियालिटी थाङ्गा नजिक बसेर साधन गर्दा हामीलाई त्यो भाइब्रेसन आउँछ, पोजिटिभ कुरा आउँछ। यो त खालि बुद्ध जुन बुद्धले टिकाको टिचिङ गर्नुभएको नेचुरल फेनोमेना छ नि, नेचर माइन्ड छ नि, त्योसँग रिलेटेड छ यो।
Home Bahadur Tamang, a gifted Thanka artist from the spiritual heart of Bodha, has turned his craft into a global bridge between tradition and business.
Thanka चाहिँ मैले 1976 मा सुरुवात गरेको मेरो टिचर चाहिँ म भन्दा अघिल्लो मेरो दाइ हो साइला दाइ मेरो चाहिँ बाउपादेखि नै कलाकार हुनुहुन्थ्यो पाटन भक्तपुर छामेल दरबार स्क्वायरमा यसै पसल बेच्ने काम हुन्थ्यो अनि त्यो बेच्दा मैले यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ विदेशीले किन्दो रहेछ आफैले विदेशसँग बेच्नुपर्छ भन्ने अलिकति मनमा मलाई अलिकति सोच आयो त्यसपछि मैले 2050 सालमा यहाँ सुरु गरेँ आजभन्दा 32 वर्ष अगाडि
What began as a young artist's journey through the streets of Kathmandu has blossomed into a thriving enterprise where sacred art meets business and tourism. With every brushstroke, home brings Nepal's rich spiritual heritage to the world, transforming Thanka painting into a symbol of cultural fusion.
त्यो बेला चाहिँ पसल कोही पनि यहाँ थिएन किनभने त्यो मार्केटले चाहिँ कहाँ मार्केट हुन्छ भन्ने खोज्दो रहेछ त्यो खोज्ने क्रममा म यहाँ आइपुग्यो विदेशीहरू पनि यहाँ त्यति अहिले जस्तो बस्दैन 5 मिनेट 10 मिनेटमा घुमेर जानुहुन्थ्यो त्यतिखेर खाने रेस्टुरेन्ट पनि एकजना मात्रै थियो एउटा मात्रै थियो अहिले चाहिँ होस् त्यो बेला र अहिलेमा धेरै आकाश जमिनको फरक भएको छ
His story is one of passion, innovation, and a deep commitment to preserving tradition while embracing the future.
विशेष गरी यो बौद्ध स्तूपसँग रिलेटेड छ यो बुद्धको शिक्षासँग रिलेटेड यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ संसारको मानिसहरू यो स्तूपलाई घुम्ने क्रममा यो प्रार्थना गर्ने मेन आउने ठाउँ चाहिँ यो रहेछ त्यसो भएको हुनाले यो चाहिँ विशेष गरी ओल्ड हेरिटेज साइटमा चाहिँ त्यो पनि के हो बुद्धिस्टको भएको हुनाले चाहिँ नेपालभरि कुनै थाङ्का बिक्ने ठाउँ चाहिँ अति महत्त्वपूर्ण चाहिँ यो नै हो वास्तवमा किनभने रिलेटेड छ यो बुद्धसँग
From the hills of Ramechhap to the heart of Bodha, Home Bahadur Damang has a glorious story to tell. A story of will, determination, struggle, and success.
म आफै पनि रामसाप दुर्गम जिल्लामा जन्मेको चाहिँ रोजगार छैन त्यहाँ स्कुल छैन कलेज छैन हस्पिटल छैन रोजगार छैन त्यसपछि म पनि रोजगारकै क्रममा यहाँ आएर मैले सुरुवात गर्यो अहिले चाहिँ म लगभग 49 वर्ष भयो यही पेसा गरेर दाल भात खाएको अब नयाँ पुस्तालाई पनि मैले हस्तान्तरण गर्नुपर्छ है भन्ने मेरो एउटा उद्देश्यले चाहिँ अहिले मैले नयाँ पुस्तालाई चाहिँ गाउँबाट आउनुहुन्छ स्कुल सकेर अनि बिहान चाहिँ कलेज जानुहुन्छ दिउँसो काम छैन त्यस कारणले मैले 3 महिना फ्री ट्रेनिङ दिने गरेको छ उहाँको स्किल आन्सर टेस्ट गरेर हामीले यहीँ तलब दिएर जस्तो बिहान कलेज पनि भ्यायो उसो कति हो त्यसो त्यहाँबाट एक्स्ट्रा टाइम चाहिँ 5 घण्टा 6 घण्टा 7 घण्टा मैले पनि यहाँ जीवन चलाउने चाहिँ काम भइरहेको छ अहिले
For 49 years, he painted, taught, and empowered young artisans. Today, his school preserves tradition and creates futures.
हामीले यहाँ सुरुमा इन्टरभ्यू लिन्छु त्यसपछि एक हप्ता चाहिँ नि सानो र क्यानभासमा हात ट्रेनिङ दिन्छु त्यसको शरीरको बडीहरू अलिकति ट्रेनिङ दिन्छु अनि एक हप्तापछि ओके भनेर ओके या यस भने कोही मानिस नसक्ने चाहिँ नि आधा घण्टामा 1 घण्टामा उठेर गइहाल्छ म सक्दैन ढाड दुख्यो किन उसको मन धेरै भएर गयो त्यो सक्दैन ऊ आउँदैन एक दिन पनि आउँदैन मात्रै आँखा चाहिँ हुनु पर्यो हामीले अपाङ्गलाई पनि सिकाएको छ जस्तो बाहिर कान नसुन्ने पनि सिकाएको छ आँखा चाहिँ हुनु पर्यो त्यस्तै हो
As interest in Buddhism grows worldwide, so does the appreciation for our sacred art. Foreigners now come not just to admire but to learn, studying our architecture techniques and meditative Thanka traditions, giving new life to what was once known only within our borders.
बुद्ध नेपाल हो नेपालमा जति छन् विश्व सम्पदामा सूचीमा भएको मठ मन्दिर गुम्बद छ यसैबाट उहाँले पनि सिकेको वास्तवमा यो जुन बौद्ध स्तूपबाट भनौँ लुम्बिनी त्यो जस्तो उहाँहरूले बनाउन सक्दैन तर यसको चाहिँ एकदम महत्त्वपूर्ण के छ भगवान या चाहिँ दोस्रो तेस्रो बुद्धको रिलेटिभ यहाँ छ जति चाहिँ अहिले संसारमा यो बुद्धिज्म फैलिँदै जान्छ यो महायान बुद्धिज्म त्यतिकै ठाङ्गको भ्यालु चाहिँ बढ्दैछ अहिले जस्तो मेरै कुरा मैले 40-45 वर्ष यति ठाङ्गको महत्त्व थिएन किनभने वर्ल्ड वाइडमा बुद्धिज्ममा थिएन, विदेशीहरूले जानेकै थिएन। उनीहरूले त्यो सुरु आउँदाखेरि सानो एउटा नेपाल आउँदाखेरि सुपर किन नलैजाऊ भन्ने मात्रै लाइन थियो। अहिले चाहिँ उहाँहरू चाहिँ जस्तो अमेरिका, युरोप, तपाईँको यो सिङ्गापुर, ताइवान, मलेसिया विभिन्न देशमा चाहिँ अहिले बुद्धिस्ट प्र्याक्टिसनर धेरै उहाँहरू चाहिँ गर्नुहुन्छ। त्यसको लागि चाहिँ एकदमै महत्त्वपूर्ण छ। त्यस कारणले भविष्यमा यो थाङ्गा चाहिँ छ, यसको मार्केट छ।
As an artist, entrepreneur, and a master, he feels fulfilled, creating beauty, guiding others, and living with purpose.
मैले संसार जीवन जगतलाई थाहा पायो। अहिले हामी सांसारिक जीवन छ, सांसारिक जीवनमा कसरी जिउने र अर्कोलाई पनि कसरी जिउन दिने कला थाहा पायो। त्यसपछि अब जुन देशमा जन्मे पनि, जुन कुलमा जन्मे पनि 100% निश्चित के हो भने मृत्यु छ। त्यो त निश्चित हो नि, एउटै निश्चित छैन, कहिले पनि निश्चित छैन। तर त्यो मर्नेमा म कसरी मर्ने भन्ने कला पनि थाहा पाएँ मैले। मलाई त धेरै परिवर्तन भएको छ। मैले परिवर्तन भयो भने के हुन्छ, मैले ठुलो पचेरो चढ्यो, ठुलो गाडी त्यस्तो होइन, तर म खुसी छु। सादा दाल भात खानु पाएछ, मैले परिवार पाल्नु पाएछ। यही थाङ्गाले म जापान घुम्यो, युरोप गयो, चाइना घुम्यो, बुद्धिस्ट कन्ट्री सबै घुमेको छ। सबै ठाउँमा मैले घुम्नलाई मलाई पैसाको आपत पनि परेन। थाङ्गा सँगसँगै लाँदै बिर्बिङ गर्दै बेच्दै दर्शन बेचेको हो। त्यस कारण मलाई त एकदम खुसी छु म त पनि।
Then comes the awakening, the eyes. Until that moment, the thanga is silent. When the artist paints the peoples, the deity is invited to reside within. The canvas breathes, the prayer begins. From quiet Himalayan ateliers to the galleries in Tokyo, Berlin, and New York, thangas now travel far beyond the monasteries. They adorn homes, museums, and collectors' walls, a global symbol of Nepal's artistic devotion.
Mostly, thanga word itself is a Tibetan word, so this tradition belongs to Tibetan people. This tradition belongs to Tamang. This tradition belongs to Newar community. Although they have different expression of color, technique, the detail, but this tradition, this culture belongs to this three community, and this is kind of passed on tradition. They learn this skill from their forefather to the new generation. This is how this tradition has been continuing and preserving. So it is beneficial for them to live their life, and it is beneficial for the country because this is a culture, and culture and tradition is the treasure of each country.
The trade sustains thousands. From the hum of Bodha's alleys to export crates bound for distant lands, thanga has become a vital thread in Nepal's creative economy. Yet, as markets grow, so does the tension between faith and fame, between meditation and merchandise.
कला चाहिँ दुवै राम्रै हो हैन, आफ्नो आफ्नै फिलोसफी भन्ने हो। यसले चाहिँ तपाईको मन भित्रको डेप्थमा जाने सिकाउने हो। यसमा चाहिँ यो चाहिँ मिहिन काम हुन्छ, कठिन पनि हुन्छ के, किनभने यसमा चाहिँ तपाईले चाहिँ अघिको जस्तो धेरै चीजहरु चाहिँ लिनुपर्छ, अनुशासन लिनु पर्यो हैन, यसको विधि विधानमा बसेर गर्नुपर्छ। यसमा चाहिँ अब त्यो चाहिँ तपाईको मनमा जुन फिलिङ्स आउँछ त्यो लेखिहाल्ने हो के, त्यो गर्दाखेरि त्यसले पनि वर्ल्डमा चलिरहेछ यसले चाहिँ नेपालले किन त्यो अब त्यसलाई चाहिँ कम्पिटिसन गर्न सक्छ भने चाहिँ यो चिज चाहिँ अरूले गर्न सक्दैन किनभने त्यसमा मेडिटेसन ध्यान जस्तै गर्नुपर्छ कि सरकारी स्कुलबाट चाहिँ स्कुलिङदेखि नै गर्नुपर्छ यसको पाठ्यक्रमहरू बनाउनु पर्छ होइन एउटा त्यो गरिसकेपछि यसको प्रमोट हुन्छ होइन हामीलाई चाहिने त त्यही प्रवर्धन हो नि तर ब्याङ्किङहरूले पनि के गर्नु पर्यो भने यसलाई चाहिँ बिना दिदोमा पनि के अरे ऋण दिने वातावरण होइन कलाकारको के छुट्याएर कि अनि तपाईँको हामीले ट्याक्स तिर्नुपर्छ ट्याक्स तिर्दाखेरि पनि कुनै एउटा चिज चाहिँ कलाकारलाई कुन ओदामा राखेर त्यसको एउटा ब्यालेन्स एउटा गरेर सरकारले गरिदियो भने यसको झन् अझ फ्रस्टिन्छ कि फ्रस्टिएपछि त यो नेपालकै लागि चाहिँ यसले चाहिँ पर्यटनलाई पनि विकास हुने अनि त्यो स्कुल कलेजमा भयो भने पुस्ता हस्तान्तरण चाहिँ एकदम दिगो हुन्छ कि
All the Thanka has same meaning of peace. So foreigner, they admire philosophy. Practitioner also, they choose deities mostly to practice, to visualize, and they imagine the quality of deities with themselves. And some least person, they want it as a souvenir to decorate for the positive vibe. Some they buy it for the gift for their loved one. Philosophy reminds us about the beautiful quality, and that quality gives us peace, and that peace is everyone searching for. So Thanka painting is very, very important for everyone because it is relevant with our life. If it is relevant with our life, that is truth.
But beyond commerce and canvas, a Thanka is still a mirror reflecting a way of life where art and spirit breathe as one. Every brush that moves today carries the echo of generations, an unbroken whisper from monastery walls to the modern world. As the sun sets over the Himalayas, somewhere an artist bows before a finished Thanka. His work is now complete, his prayer released. For in every stroke lies a journey from pigment to prayer, from devotion to eternity. This is not just Nepal's art, it is Nepal's soul, painted into time.
La 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 la. La 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 la.
Well, welcome to a new episode of Creative Forum here on NTV World, where we bring achievers from different creative walks of life and celebrate their achievements, their feat. Recently, a Nepali film has been making headlines across the world for a historic feat it has managed to achieve in the international arena. Elephants in the Fog managed to win the Uncertain Regards section at Cannes Film Festival, the first Nepali film to do so. And it gives me great pleasure to share that we are joined by the filmmakers of the film Elephants in the Fog today in the studio. Let me welcome the director, Avinash Bikram Shah.
Namaste.
And then the actor, Pirati Pushpa Thinglama.
Namaskar.
And of course, the producer who gets it all together, Adu Podal.
Namaste.
Welcome to all of you guys, and a huge congratulations once again to you.
So much.
Thank you.
With all the hectic schedules and all, how have you guys managed to find some time to rest or sleep in?
It's been so many interviews, so many meetings, and everything that's going on. So I really couldn't find time for myself, you know. So and I'm still processing that what actually we have achieved, you know. I'm still, but I'm happy. Everyone is happy. My mother is so happy, you know. With that, I'm happy for sure. But you know, this the time to process, to think what I have really achieved, you know. So that thing that still I have to
it
process.
Still feels surreal,
yes.
probably.
Yes.
This musical piece that we just started with, for many of our audience who have not watched the film yet, who have not gotten to watch, in fact, the film yet, who are waiting, what piece does this belong to in the movie? What does it represent?
Well, in the film, we talk about the story of a Kinner community, and the community made their bread and butter by giving blessings to other people's ceremony, maybe like in some wedding ceremony, or like in some marriages. So they'll be dancing, blessings, and in our films, clapping is very important, and the strength of the Kinner community. So la 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 la. It reflects the energy and the joy they will provide for the family to bring more blessing for a particular person, like the couple, like newly married couples, or like the newly birth child. So it's a blessing and celebrations that way, and creating an anthem for the film as well, because we did it very many times in Cannes, and then how people perceive it before watching the films and after watching the films means like it really makes sense, you know. So it's like kind of sensations for now, let's say. Yeah.
I think it's also easy to catch on.
Yeah.
Yes.
When we were shooting this song and dance, like after that scene, everyone was doing, you know, throughout. I mean, till the end. I mean, our sound recordist, he's from Brazil, so he was always doing la 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 la. That's crazy. Yeah, it's so catchy.
Yeah, and it's really feel very proud that we could represent our community. And one more thing is that the clap means not only for the, I mean, a particular part. We always do clap whenever we are happy or anger, but beside that, we always clap for the best wishes.
Pushpa, you are the heart of the story. Avinash, I think, has mentioned before that he knew the character was you when he laid his eyes on you. But it must have been a process for you to get into the role, given your non-acting previous past. How did the whole journey during the production, pre-production phase feel for you like?
It's been a tough time, I know, which I spent. But most probably, they trusted me, and we got many workshops and trainings, which was given by our scriptwriter Sandeep ji and Akanksha Karki, mentor. and Sudam, yes, casting director Sudam. All of them was very, very humble and helpful. Each and every part has been, I mean, they gave us
guided you through it.
And we understood them, and we just learned and did work hard, and here is the result.
Was there a moment during the training where you felt like now you are Pirati?
To be honest, at first I was little bit nervous whether I can't play Pirati or not. And the character has been played in my mind always, and I'm thinking, will I play the character? Will I justice her? And I always been suffering that words in my mind, and how to be creative, and how to be pure, and how to be authentic. As I said, the team trusted me, and I worked hard. They helped me, and mostly the teamwork. The teamwork was fantastic, and I built up myself that I could and I can do it. And really, the team was awesome.
And I think it also shows in the product that you're able to, curate.
And adding to her, I mean, the main thing was for me as a director, for turning Puspa into Pirati was, of course, those training helped for sure. But the most important thing I felt, now I'm thinking, was building that trust between, both of us, because I was always trying to tell her that you don't have to act, you don't have to act, you are Pirati. Because whatever Pirati goes through in life, maybe, probably she has also gone through it, or she knows some people, who have gone through that, because she is working in an NGO, in Blue Diamond Society, and she is meeting a lot of people like that. So just be yourself, and the trust and meeting, I mean, we
met many times.
Many times. I mean, to get her into that role, it almost took 2 years, right? Yes.
And the main thing is that what I found, Pirati and me, myself, is similar, because both of them are most encourageable and lovable person.
And you are a mother.
Yes, I am a mother.
Yeah, and an actor has to be, so vulnerable, so, and to be vulnerable, it takes courage, it takes courage and trust.
When you reiterated that you are a mother as well, so it almost sounded like you have to go through the emotions, you have to have had experiences as such in your life to be able to portray that character. Is that so?
Of course, otherwise how can you play the role, I mean, we, for the director, for writer, there is some instances, where I don't have that experience, but I can relate to some other incident, to write or to direct the actress, maybe for her as well, That's why, this film, I chose Puspa, because she is a trans woman, and she knows, because she doesn't have to create something, otherwise for me it would be fake, Through her experience, if something comes out, it's so, authentic and so magical and so connecting. It will connect, people. So that's why, she is mother. She has a lot of daughters. I know.
Yeah. You can see in movie.
We really are looking forward to the
everyone talked about her performance. Everyone. Even Anurag Kashyap, right?
Yes.
That was her.
Why the name Elephants in the Fog, and why the need to cover a trans story?
First of all, this, of course, it's a trans story, like you said, but here I dealt with a family, you know. I mean, when I knew that they live as a family, you know, mother and daughter relationship or guru chela relationship, that really intrigued me, you know, because most of them are outcast kind of, you know, people, because they cannot live in the society, or even they are thrown out of their home. Now they have, you know, a beautiful family. They chose the chosen one, and that was the hook, you know, genesis for this film. I really want to see how the family works, you know. Even though this film, like I said, you know, it's a story about trans woman, but for me, it's more about this family, the story of mother and daughters, you know. I always say, you know, to my friends and to my brothers, it can easily be a very melodramatic story, you know, and also very ethnographic film. But I really don't want to go there. I really want to focus on this mother's journey, you know. How, like my mother, you know, I live with my mother, and she is, I mean, when I went there for the research, I found same, you know, my family and their family quite similar. It's quite dysfunctional, you know. I mean, there's love, there's anger, there's hate, there's envy, but most important, there's love, you know. I mean, that love binds them, you know. So
it's a family, a story of any family.
Exactly. And about elephants, during the research, while I was trying to write this film, I met a mother from the, you know, Kinna community, and she told me a story about elephants and the blind men. And what she said was, you know, the blind men cannot, you know, really know how elephant looks like, because it's so huge and they have to feel. They cannot, you know, feel everything at once. I mean, when they touch the, you know, the leg of the elephant, they will probably think it's a pillar of either if they touch, I mean, feel the tail, they will think it's a rope. And what she said was so profound, like, was the people in our society see us in that, you know, limited perspective. They don't see us as a whole human being, you know. So that was really, you know, profound for me. And there is one saying also, you know, the elephant in the room. What if it's a huge elephant in the room, but now they are in the fog, you know. I mean, and my job was to bring the elephant out of the fog. You know? It's the elephant, whole elephant, to show the audience, or the audience and to the people.
Anup, the role of a producer, it's mammoth. You're arranging everything. You're making sure there is creative space for people working, the hands on the set. Normally, when we look at the role of a producer in a cinema, have we treated the role in Nepali industry as much as it should have been, or have we done justice to it?
Good question. First of all, the ideas of a producer is somewhere not properly interpreted in Nepali film industry. The one who invests in the film is termed as a producer, but it's more than that. So the producer is the one who will pick the script or the final director, you know. So it means like the producer should have some creative ability to find which project suits for him to make the films or something like that. So I started as a writer director, and then produced short films, and then I started production manager jobs, and then started doing line producing. As I stay in Nepal, I really want to work in Nepali films, and somewhere my creative insights can be put, or like the ideas that I really wanted to work on, maybe as a producer, I could do it. So I was learning all the things, how budgets are made in Nepal, how the schedules work, how many talents are here in Nepal. So it took like almost 17 years to produce my own feature film. And I think like I did a very good job. You can ask the director or the cast, because I paid her very well.
Did he?
And the thing is, like, I take a time to make things happen. When Avinash was taking time to have rehearsals with actors, going to Bhairava, or bringing all the actors to Kathmandu and have a rehearsals, there is a creative process going on, but still like I have spent a lot of money for the logistics to make it happen, to bring all the actors. It was like 25 people at one time, and then 15 people and 5 actresses, you know. So it took years and years. And if I was not a good producer, should I have wait for all this year to make it happen? No, right? Because there are lots of expenses, lots of things to make things possible. And I think I feel like I'm a proud, and it's very unseen story of a producer, how they work, or how hard their job is behind the cameras, you know. So I'm very thankful for having me here and give me a space to talk about my experiences.
It's such a pleasure to have all three of you. Pushpa, building on it, did he pay you well?
Yes, he did.
Okay,
he did.
There we have.
Main thing is that he just a particular person that he always says me that we need to be independent. So trust yourself, build up yourself. And really, man, thank you so much. He did it.
Anup and Avinash, you worked also in another successful project, Lori, before. I hear you guys are best of friends in the set. Are you guys?
It's like I was studying in South Busan, producing. I studied producing in South Busan, and I don't want to talk about since we talk about gender roles or gender neutrality, but still like the idea of husband and wife, you know. So the how a family functions, you know. There is a husband and there is a wife, and who holds the things, you know. So the relations between director and producer is something like that. How people take it. It can be husband and husband, wife and wife, or anything as such. But you know, what I'm trying to say is like, there is a good side as well, there is a bad side as well, but we accept everything of us and discuss and make things happen, you know. Even for Avinash, it's been like, I even like he was ready, I was not ready in many ways. So I took my years, like 2-3 years for myself to have a financing the funds. And even Avinash, I gave him a time to have like rewrite the script, work with the actors, castings. I took a time. So it's like mutual discussions that we have it, and we always fight. We look very close to each other, but have a little of rivalry because we have been working together for like 17 years, a long time collaborations. And if we don't have this sides of us, you know, good, bad, evil sides or ugly sides, we couldn't come along this long journey. So I produced a couple of short films as well, which went to good film festivals. But Cannes is the one where our work highlighted. That's what I can say.
And
so.
For me, you know, the kind of film that I want to make as a director, as a writer, it's not the mainstream film that's you know, that's going on here, but the trust that that he gave to the kind of films that I want to make is always, you know, super.
Yeah.
So
our first work is to find good story or talk about some stories or something like that, and then we'll think about, let's make about a film about it or something.
So while there are creative differences, you are complementary roles for each other. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
A marvelous feat at Cannes Film Festival. I wonder what criteria you evaluated. Maybe Avinash can answer this. When putting out your film or sending your film to festivals, there are festivals in Nepal as well.
The first thing is Cannes is considered as one of the, you know, biggest film festivals in the world. Number one is that. Second, I'm self-taught filmmaker, and I watched films that has been, you know, selected in Cannes, at Cannes, you know, and they discovered those directors. The directors I love, I mean, most of the film went to Cannes. So second reason is that. And the third one is to sell the film. You know, Cannes is the must. I mean, they have this huge market, and you can actually. I mean, the festival is like not just to show your film. The foremost idea is how to sell your film, you know, to different part of the world. So the other reason is that. So first is it's the biggest film festival, and they really, you know, treat you, I mean, really good. I mean, the kind of, you know, feeling that I hope, you know, in Nepal I should have, you know, I should have got, that I received in Cannes. But now I'm happy that everyone is talking about this film, talking about us, and it's really good. But there I received that thing when our short film was there, and the other thing is our short film was sold in many places. So it really, I mean, for those reasons, I think
it also felt like a continuation, perhaps, for you.
Yeah, and since I was, they think they discovered me, my film. So yeah, they want to see more of my work. So yeah, and maybe it became, I don't know if I should say easier or something. Maybe they watched my film very curiously because I was there with the short film, and they want me to continue in the festival. Maybe another reason is that as well.
Yeah.
What goes into the criteria when considering whether to send to one festival or the other?
Okay, good question again. It's the 79th edition of CAT, and they have tremendous success and impressed many filmmakers from the world. As a filmmaker, myself, or a student, myself, when I started to learn filmmaking, we used to watch a lot of film from the world. We used to understand how films are going, and we talk about like there were certain kind of revolutions going on, and France was leading many revolutions in cinemas, like new wave cinemas. So it has a very great impact on me, and the wonderful director that I know, they have screened their film in Cannes, and as a film student back then, it was a dream to have a film in Cannes. That's the prestige they have it from the beginning, because they start the festivals right after Second World War, I can say that. And that's the momentum they create as a cinema files or as a artist or something. So it's a very huge platform for all the artists who celebrate art or cinemas. So it has a very great impact. And then and what I felt as a producer is like it's a very good space to have a world premiere. World premiere is one place where you can only have one. Okay. And as a producer, my somewhere my greediness, or I can say that I want to have there, and it will be easier to sell the film. And it has a very huge market called marché du film. And there are lots of distributors coming across the world to buy best one.
So and one more thing that I want to add is, when I was there, after the screening, and there were a lot of people, cheering for us, and one place is that Cannes is, the film festival is so political, and I was thinking, like, the woman that I was dealing with in this film, the trans woman, their lives and the life in Cannes, I mean, all the European, the best ones, I mean, with this glaze and glamour and red carpet and everything, the important thing that I felt was the story that I wanted to tell, That's the best place, because it's being seen, Our story is being visible all around the world. So that's the most important thing, I think, for us. Reach, exactly. For us to premiere in Cannes.
Nepal also had a pavilion at the Cannes this year. Any one of you can answer this. How effective do you think the step was?
I mean, it's always good to have our country's, pavilion there. But again, like I said, it's just a baby step from us. I mean, there's a very small pavilion, but I've seen the pavilion, the big ones from India, from Switzerland, from Germany. We have a very small one there. So, but like I said, maybe we can, bring the big one in later years and, invite more people. So, yeah.
It's a step forward.
It's a step forward for sure.
I want to come to Anup now. Governments of South Korea, for instance, and Iran as well, they invest in film industry relatively higher and well enough to solidify the sector itself. How have you viewed government's investment here in Nepal?
I think still the impact of cinemas is not evaluated or understand by our government yet. What can cinemas make changes in the life of many people over here, or what can it what it can take from the countries to the international platforms. We have not evaluated it, and we have not understand the impact of it. For me, as I studied in South Korea, they have lots of things, and they progress quite heavily after 2000. The status of Nepali films and South Korea back then was kind of similar. So when government is aware of cinemas, and when a government is aware of protecting the arts and artists, and then only art flourish. So I think the conversations and discussions are going on with new ministers, and recently people are talking about new film bill that is supposed to pass, but they have some kind of questions going around. And with the impact of even Elephants in the Fog recently has just realized, what can be done in coming years. And for me as a producer, how Nepali film can progress is if government has more interest in producing films, like providing some grants for development, or productions fund, or post-production fund, or helping filmmakers. Like I need support to release Elephants in the Fog in Nepal, and I need support from Film Development Board for distributions. So if they are very serious enough to handle all these things, we can earn revenue at first, and the money will automatically go to the government. If they spend money, means like some certain percentage will be there for them. So, and we have we keep on paying taxes, and I don't know where our tax money are going from film development boards. I don't think doing different stops like trainings, which might not be required sometimes, and spending the money over there, rather than investing in some short films or some scripts or something like that, So the conversation is coming here because no one has taken film seriously, although we have a history of almost 60 years now. No one has taken cinema seriously, and this is a prime time. And I'm very happy we have having these conversations, and many young filmmakers are aware of the government, that government should be there to help them around.
We can be hopeful. Avinash, when we talk about films that goes to festivals like these, there is a general understanding that the type of film made for festivals and the type of film made for the general audience are different. Do you think so?
Festival actually receive hundreds of films, like they call it, art film. I mean, whatever films that in Nepal, even from Nepal, there are many films, they have been submitting, and they call it, it's art film, very slow burn kind of film. But then, with this project, Elephants in the Fog, I really don't want that boundary, because this film about this boundary, we set, it's either this or that. We really blurred that, boundary, and because it's a very fast-paced film, and with the one of the genre is thriller genre, and it's kind of commercial film for me, and this film is just recently selected in Cannes. So the thing in most of the filmmakers, not just in Nepal, in South Asia, they think only this slow kind of film will travel to to the festival like Cannes or anywhere. But then with this film, with the elephant, we have changed. I mean, for me, I mean, I think it was a clear intention for me, because the very first intention was, at least in Nepal, people see, more and more people should see this film, not for the producer aspect, for as a director, because the intention of this film, why I'm making this film and what I'm dealing with this film, and for that reason, many people have to see, and if I make, very slow kind of film, I mean, they will get bored. So it was my intention from the writing, no, I have to make audience, sit in a chair and engage in the film.
Yes.
So for that reason, we have tried this, and like I said, Khan accepted that film. So it's not that only the art film, like you said, I mean, for the general audience and the festival films, we have blurred that line with this film. I mean, many of, if you look at the trailer of our film, it's so mainstream, So yeah.
We are all looking forward to watching the film. When will we get to watch it?
Yes. That he can answer.
We have our own distributor here in Nepal. T-Fox Nepal is handling the distribution, and he's one of the co-producers of the film. His name is Prachnaman Shrestha, and we during Cannes we announced our distributors, but we're looking for the calendar, and probably we'll have our films on September 1st week.
Great, September. I'm sure you are busy with this project itself right now, but what other projects are you exploring next? What can we see you next in?
Right now, I don't have any. I mean, I'm not planning for anything to do because I have to
go back to office.
Yeah, go back to office.
She'll wait for traveling all film festivals that we'll have it, and then her plan. I'm her manager now, and then she's waiting for Nepal premiere as well, and she wants to see how Nepali audience will react, and she really after Elephants, she really want to get into acting as well.
As we've of course understood, I've understood that. Yes, this is a story portrayed by a trans character, but it's also a family story about every family that we've seen. But when it releases to a wider audience, what kind of impact do you expect to see in the ground level?
A first understanding to make this film is to have a very beautiful story of a very dysfunctional family where a mother and her daughters are living together, and that's the joy, that's anger, that's frustrations, and generally our daily life of ours wants to show it. And since our film is of a transformer mother and daughter, my first concern when I was doing it was I was very skeptical about how people will perceive it, or it will make money or not, or something like that. But what I realized is, like, as a person, what kind of story I want to tell, it matters. And probably, like, it's a very courageous or a bravery to make this film and get into mainstream audiences or theaters. It's like, as a film producer or somewhere an activist in heart, if I can't do this, or if I don't bring the story to the audience, then who will do it, So we took a lot of courage to make these films, and when we were developing the script, when Avinash was developing the story, we are not talking about any issues of trans, we are taking as a mother and daughter, and everyone will enjoy. And when they will enter in the cinemas, while they're watching the films, they will just see a story of mother through this actress. And some people, like in our society, there are people who are very transphobic, there are different kind of peoples, but the thing is, like, when they'll start to watch, they'll have empathy towards the woman that we are portraying, and I hope it will change some narrative to look after them or something like that. And since it's like till now more than 2,000 people have watched it in Cannes, like there were like more than 4,000 I can say it, because it was screened 2 times and world premiere, and we have 3 times we have screened in 3 times in big auditorium. And
this emotion you were talking about that you hope to generate, it was clearly seen during the screening as well. I think you had 8 minutes of standing ovation.
Yes. And what you have said is so important for me, when you said empathy, maybe audience will have empathy towards trans women. I mean, they like we said, maybe they see the community, the person, as a whole human being. So that's the
And also, like this kind of conceptions are asking this kind of question is itself a bravery attempt, you know, because we people like in general we have very preconceived thought about anything, anything, and we made our perspectives in like immediately bring our perspective without thinking, you know. This kind of conversations even make people to understand many subject matters, and when people will watch it, then they will realize it. If they don't watch, then they will miss the biggest beautiful film ever made in Nepal.
I always kept in my mind and my heart that this project will make a particular, bring a particular change for ourselves and for the society, that they will know us and they will reach out to us and they will know our story. I haven't imagined about Cannes and Film Festival at all, but what I thought that is this project will bring us in front, where we are invisible in our society. We are just fighting for our rights and for our health. That's it. And we are just in the box of this society. But this film brings us in a world stage, and definitely it works, and it did.
And it's going to add on and hopefully change. It's a long process.
Yeah, and one more thing, which is very important. The film is not about trans community only. It's all about a human being, and it's all about a story of mother and daughter. And I'm sure after watching this movie, people will realize
it's a human story.
Yeah.
Pushpa, how did you feel when the audience gave standing ovation for many minutes?
I can't explain. Oh my God, I don't have any words. And I'm really thankful to all the people who appraises us, and Avinash, Anup, and these guys are, oh my God, I'm just loving them, because you know what? Nobody dares to bring this story, this kind of story in front of the, cinema. And the people always takes us as a part of joke and just a nachaniya type and just a clapping. It's not about clapping and nachaniya type.
Yeah.
They dared it, and they bring it in front of the society, in front of the nation, as we can. As we all can see in worldwide standing ovation. Oh my God, means a lot for me. Means a lot.
Yeah, it gives.
Courage. It gives us for the visibility, encouragement, and empowerment also.
Yeah.
How did you feel during that moment?
I felt so overwhelmed. I wanted to cry, but I was stopping so hard myself, but I couldn't. And all those hard works, I felt like it's paid off. Everyone was praising with the claps and everything.
Yes.
That was amazing.
Quickly, how did you feel?
I cried before the screening, actually.
Why?
Why?
No, we have a photo call, and then we had a green room before the screening, and everyone was having champagne. I took my champagne and I was in the corner. What I realized in all this year is I did a lot for the project, financially, mentally, physically, emotionally. I was so weak at that point, and then that day was a very big day for me because I am giving the film to the full audience filled with in the auditorium, So I'm taking out something from which was very hard to put inside me, because I suffer a lot while making the film industry works. You need to know people over here. So I think reading more scripts and understanding the scripts matters at first. Yeah.
Pushpa, what would your message be to your audience?
Just be a human being. That's it.
Wonderful.
Empathetic,
Yeah, in an empathetic way.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Avinash?
For me, I would say don't give up, because it's we say highs and lows. Here mostly it's lows.
It's lows, and
so don't give up. Eventually, it will turn yourself really tough to handle thing, and it will eventually pay off. Don't give up, really.
Great. Thank you all for being here and for sharing your experiences. And once again, congratulations and all the best for the future.
Thank you so much and namaste.
Thank you.
शादी के दिन में बाजे ढोलकिया सुना ए सखिया ना, दुल्हा के सिर पे बांधल मौरिया सुना ए सखिया ना, ला 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 ला.
Music, dance, food, art and devotion are the lifeblood of Newar culture, an ancient civilization rooted in the Kathmandu Valley of Nepal. With lively festivals nearly every fortnight, the Newars celebrate life through a rich tapestry of traditions known as Jatra.
Shall we start now?
I'll try my best.
Okay. Your best performance, okay?
The most important innings for me would be the Nepal versus Hong Kong game. And I scored 41 runs because that match, it was one step into the World Cup. And for me, I remember going into that game, I thought I'll not hit the ball in the air at all because if I stayed in the crease and scored runs, meant that Nepal had better chances of winning. And those 41 runs in that game would probably be the most valuable innings that I've ever played, where I got run out. But that every run, if I think of it now, would probably be the time when I took the most pressure during my whole 20 years of career. But those would be the most important runs of my career.
Best Nepali batsman of all time?
It's difficult. Why? Because I have seen a lot of great players, and you look at the current batch of cricketers, meant that everyone's been performing exceptionally well. If I really had to pick one name, just from a talent perspective, who did not play as much for Nepal but was extremely talented, was Sandeep Shrestha. He played few matches for Nepal, but just looking at him, he was so casual at how he played the sport.
I can't agree with you anymore. Best coach you have played under?
If I really had to pick one person, would be Pubdu, because that transformation of Nepal cricket from 11 to 16 while he was here, and we qualifying for the World Cup was an important moment.
Most difficult opponent you have played against?
Obviously, Afghanistan and Nepal always, gets compared. I remember playing Afghanistan's first match in 2005, and then they wanted to become a test playing nation in 2016.
Best bowler you have faced, or the most difficult bowler you have ever faced?
I think Basant Rigmi easily is the best bowler that I played. I keep saying Sandeep played the IPL, he's gone on to play all leagues all over the world, he's been phenomenal. But Basant Rigmi, if let's say had got the platform back in the day from a fast bowler who turned into a left arm spinner, probably the best bowler that I have faced, and at one point he was probably the best left arm spinner and somebody who nobody could hit.
Best upcoming talent?
I think Gulshan Jha, the potential that he has as an all-rounder, and he's left-handed. Obviously, there's a lot more things that he needs to add up into his game, but he has potential to really grow into something.
Best Nepali bowler?
Would be Binod Das. I think he was probably the best fast bowler that I played. I mean, Sompal and Karan have carried the nation's burden for the last 10 years, but Binod Das was probably the best fast bowler.
He was the leading fast bowler in the associate countries at his peak as well. 2014 T20 World Cup qualification or 2018 ODI status?
It has to be the World Cup. And
I really can't pick between the two. Why? Because the ODI status is important for the overall, setup of how a cricket nation functions at the associate world. But qualifying for the World Cup and playing the World Cup meant that cricket became important to this nation. So I would definitely pick the World Cup.
Best ever performance under your captaincy, Nepal's?
3 matches we played at the World Cup.
14 World Cup.
Because at the global stage, we never played under floodlights. We went into Dubai a week ago. And also when you are young, I think we were a young team. We had no fears. We were a strong unit, backed by good coaching. Whatever that we had, we were happy about it. And that moment where we were presented in front of the world, we did not crumble. Playing against Hong Kong, playing against Afghanistan, and competing against Bangladesh, meant that that is when we made our first significant impact. So those 3 matches would probably be the best performance. But if you go through the Division 5, 4, 3-2 cycle,
more.
I mean, every tournament has its own story, and it has been an incredible journey.
Best batsman in world cricket you admire?
Has to be Brian Charles Lara. Got to see him in Nepal as well, so he was a genius.
He was a genius. Best all-rounder in world cricket?
Jack Callis, easily.
All right.
When you look at his batting stats, his bowling stats, there's no comparison to what he has achieved.
Exactly. Best bowler in world cricket all time?
Shane Warne. I'll probably say he's the greatest cricketer that played the sport.
True. You are a big Aussie fan as well?
I follow the Australian cricket team.
Best captain in world cricket all time?
If I really have to go back old school, it would have to be Stephen Fleming. Fleming was a great leader, left-handed batter, and is still coaching the Chennai Super. A great cricket mind, and even Ricky Ponting. If you think of the fact that he had to lead this team of gladiators and had to captain them, Steve Waugh led by examples, day in day. But if I had to pick one person, if it's a name, Stephen Fleming. Although he didn't win championships, but had a lot of respect with everybody around and still does.
Paras, let's sit down now. Let's create Nepal's all-time 11, all formats.
It's going to be difficult.
It's going to be difficult. Let's try.
Sandeep Shrestha is opening. Then you'd probably pick maybe Kushal
Bhurtel. Parishloni opening. Fantastic.
2. Then number 3 would be Gyanendra Malla.
Superb.
Number 4.
Let's try.
Number 4 would be Dipender Singh Airi.
Dipender Singh Airi, of course.
At number 4. Okay. Sarat Besagar at 5. Raju Kharka at 6. Then Sakti Gausan at 7. Basant Ragmi at 8. Sandeep Lamichhane at 9. Binod Das.
Okay.
And it'll be difficult between Sompal and Karan.
All right.
Because both of them, so depending on the format, because both have been great match winners, which means that if it's ODI, I would pick Sompal.
Being diplomatic here.
If it's ODI, I mean, if it's T20, I would pick Karan. So that's the playing 11. Sandeep
Shrestha, number 1.
Kushal Bhurtel, Gyanendra Malla at 3. Dipender Singh Airi at 4. Sarat Besagar at 5. Raju Kharka at 6. Sakti Gausan at 7. Basant Ragmi at 8. Sandeep Lamichhane at 9. Binod Das at 10. And 11 would be
either Sompal or
Karan.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. All-rounders, please rank. Raju Kharka?
1. Dipender Singh Airi 2.
All right.
Sakti Gausan 3.
All right.
Gulshan Jha 4.
All right.
Mehwalam at 5. So
Mehwalam at 5. In the natural splendor, the silver-like peaks or the Himalayas glisten. Cradling a pond filled with milk in its lap, the Numbur Himal gleams. The Dudkunda, meaning a milk pond in Nepal's northeastern district of Solukhumbu, is truly the gateway to the paradise. The Numbur, Katang and Karyalung mountains seem to smile at all times. Adorned with a garland of colorful flowers, the Dudh Kunda is overflowing as if filled with milk. The very sight defines nature at its best. Feels as if the Numbur mountain is giving motherly affection, holding the lake in its lap. The beauty is so serene and virgin that one fears not to stain it by touching. Indeed, Dudh Kunda is nature at its purest form. Located at Solu Dudh Kunda municipality, Taksindu, the natural paradise draws many visitors. No matter how many words are spent describing it, they all feel inadequate upon reaching there. The name itself is fulfilling and equally sacred.
हजारौं नरनारीहरू चाहिँ तीर्थयात्रीहरू दुधकुण्डमा जानुभएको छ। म पनि पुगिरहेँ। दुधकुण्ड असाध्यै पवित्र स्थल, यो हिमाल काखमा रहेको तीर्थस्थल हो, पुण्यस्थल हो, देवस्थल हो र त्यहाँ चाहिँ एकचोटि पुग्नै पर्दो रहेछ। त्यहाँ पुगेर जुन आनन्दको अनुभूति हुन्छ त्यो चाहिँ कहीँ पनि पाइँदैन भन्ने चाहिँ महसुस भयो।
आनन्द लाग्यो, मस्त लाग्यो अनि यो ठाउँमा चाहिँ आएर तपस्या गरेर बस्नु जस्तो लाग्यो मलाई।
एकदमै राम्रो लाग्यो हैन, प्रकृतिले दिएको रमणीय तीर्थस्थल हैन, जो कोही पनि एकचोटि चाहिँ यहाँ आएर एकचोटि भ्रमण गरेर दर्शन गर्नुपर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो।
Situated at an altitude of 4,531 meters above the sea level, Dudh Kunda is a sacred pilgrimage site of culture and nature. It feels like nature has blessed this place, and culturally, it has bound all castes and ethnicities in a thread of unity. There are various legends and sayings about Dudh Kunda. One argument is that the pond was formed during the creation of the Himalayas and was discovered by local sheep and yak herders. According to another legend, in ancient times, a yak would go to a stone where the pond is located and offer its milk every day. Later, the place was found to be a pond filled with milk, leading to its name, Dudh Kunda. This has also led to the belief that gods and goddesses reside here. There are 3 different routes to reach Dudh Kunda. One route is through Salleri, Faplu, Taksindu and Sasra Beni. Another route goes via Lukla, the gateway to the Everest, through Nunthala, Taksindu and Sahasra Beni. Nature has truly blessed the Solu Dudh Kunda municipality. Truly, just like the majestic Mount Everest, Dudh Kunda has the potential to be the destination for everyone in the days to come. It is a thread of unity among all castes and ethnicities. Just like the holy water of Dudh Kunda, it will become a pure and excellent destination. Votekosi and Trisuli river rafting. Rafting has lately been gaining popularity among tourists. The adventure sport, which previously was popular only among foreigners, is now drawing the local tourists as well. Trisuli and Votekosi rivers that are close to Kathmandu are 2 popular destinations for rafting in Bagmati province. Let us first explore Votekosi. Whitewater rafting at Votekosi river is included among the 10 best adventure destinations for rafting in the world. Votekosi, which is well facilitated with food and accommodation, can be a great destination for rafting and other adventure sports. Rafting at Trisuli River is popular among domestic tourists, as the location can be reached in an hour from Kathmandu. This is where most tourists go for rafting in Nepal. Rafting packages of Votekosi and Trisuli are appropriate for those who want to spend some good time for a few days.
The US launched a fresh wave of strikes in response to Iranian forces hitting a ship passing through the Strait of Hormuz. In response to the American strikes, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC said the waterway was closed until further notice and launched attacks on US bases and allies in the region. The IRGC said it had hit a US base in Jordan, while the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain all responded to missiles and drones from Iran. It comes after incidents earlier this week in which 3 commercial tankers were attacked, prompting an exchange of strikes between the US and Iran. Earlier on Sunday, state media said Iran had closed the strait until further notice after firing a naval cruise missile at a vessel that was attempting to shell along an unapproved route. The Guard said the vessel was hit by warning shots and stopped after ignoring repeated instructions, according to a statement carried by the state news agency. It also warned that any US aggression as a result of the closure will be responded and new bases in the region will be targeted. As per reports, US strikes hit 140 Iranian military targets, including missile and drone sites, communication networks, and coastal surveillance locations. Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani, the former Emir of Qatar, who transformed the small Gulf state into one of the world's wealthiest and most influential nations, has died. He was 74. A charismatic figure with a friendly approach, the father Emir assumed the power in 1995. Regarded as the architect of modern Qatar, he embarked on leading development and reform plans and education programs, using his country's vast natural gas wealth to push an ambitious agenda of political, economic, and social reform. During his reign, Qatar's gross domestic product (GDP) increased more than 24-fold, while production from the North Field turned the country into the world's largest exporter of liquefied natural gas (LNG) by 2006. In record time, the small nation's LNG production capacity reached 77 million tons per annum, according to government figures. His tenure also saw the establishment of Qatar Foundation, the launch of Al Jazeera News Channel in 1996, the promulgation of Qatar's first permanent constitution in 2004, and the introduction of municipal elections in which women were granted the right to vote and stand as candidates. Under his leadership, the Gulf nations secured the right to host the 2022 FIFA World Cup, the first time an Arab country had done so. Before Sheikh Hamad's abdication, Qatar formally opened an office for the Taliban at the request of the United States, which set the stage for talks between Washington and the Afghan group, and ultimately led to NATO and the US's chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021. U.S. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, a close ally of U.S. President Donald Trump, has died at the age of 71. His office released a statement saying he died on Saturday evening following a brief and sudden illness. Elected to the Senate in 2002, the politician was one of Washington's most influential voices on foreign policy. He had just returned from Kiev, where he met Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Friday. There were no known health concerns ahead of the trip. In a social media post marking the senator's death, Trump said Graham was a true American patriot. While Trump and many of his allies have been lukewarm in their support for Ukraine and have taken a more conciliatory tone towards Russia, Graham was a strict supporter of arming Kiev and applying sanctions against Moscow. In his most recent trip to Ukraine, Graham was working on a version of the Russia sanctions bill, which he said would give tools to President Trump to end this war. Zelensky said he was deeply saddened by the news of the senator's death. A powerful typhoon has made a landfall in China, the second to hit the country in a week, with nearly 2 million people evacuated from areas in the path of the storm. Typhoon Babi, which spans 1,000 kilometers at its widest point, first came ashore in the coastal city of Taizhou on Saturday evening before making a second landfall in Wenzhou around midnight. After pummeling a chain of remote Japanese islands, it brought heavy rainfall as it brushed past its northern tip. Earlier landslides triggered by the storm killed at least 17 people in the Philippines. Though it has weakened to a severe tropical storm, it still presents a risk because of the huge volume of moisture within its rain bands. The storm is expected to gradually diminish its intensity as it moves northwest. Forecasters say the typhoon would move to eastern Anhui on Monday and to the northern Yellow Sea from the Shandong Peninsula on Tuesday. More than 1.7 million people have been evacuated in Zhejiang and thousands more in neighboring provinces. Schools, work and outdoor activities have been suspended in Zhejiang, while 400 flights and dozens of train services have been cancelled. The city of Wenzhou, home to around 10 million people, is close to the path of the storm, with authorities evacuating hundreds of thousands of residents. An annual wind chime festival is underway at a UNESCO World Heritage Site in Nikko City in north of Tokyo. The festival is designed to soothe visitors with the refreshing sounds of wind chimes. Some 1,100 porcelain and ceramic wind chimes crafted by artist Sato Kazuhiko at his home studio have been hung throughout the shrine compound. Some of the chimes have been suspended in the shape of a passageway. The refreshing sounds resonate throughout the compound whenever the wind blows, enthralling visitors who stop and listen. Some visitors are also seen striking numbered wind chimes with different tones to play melodies, including a traditional children's song celebrating the Star Festival observed at this time of the year. Artist Sato said about 100 golden wind chimes have been featured this year in the hope they will bring happiness to everyone. He added that all the chimes are made by hand and he wants everyone to enjoy the different tones. The festival will run till September the 7th. Sri Lankan pediatric surgeons have successfully separated 5-year-old conjoined twins Linuli and Lithuli in a landmark operation conducted through a collaboration. The twins were joined at the pelvis and shared a kidney located in the common pelvic area, underwent nearly 2 years of careful planning before the surgery. A team of around 30 medical professionals, including 15 specialists, carried out the complex operation after restoring the children's kidney functions. Doctors said the twins are currently in good health but may require further surgeries in the future. Medical specialists described the case as extremely rare worldwide, with only a limited number of similar separations reported. They highlighted the success as a result of years of teamwork, expertise, and advanced pediatric surgical care in Sri Lanka.
Facing declining influence in rapidly secularizing South Korea, the country's Buddhist community has launched a campaign to attract younger generations through festivals, fashion, digital content, and modern cultural events. The trend, widely referred to as hip Buddhism, has seen temples embrace contemporary marketing strategies, including Zen-themed slogans, robot monks, and DJs performing in monastic robes in an effort to make Buddhism more appealing to Generation Z. Monk Myo-jang, spokesperson for the Jogye Order, said the initiative aims to communicate with young people in ways that resonate with them. The campaign has been credited with boosting interest in Buddhism among younger South Koreans, although some religious scholars and followers have expressed concerns that the modern approach could dilute the faith's traditional teachings and core values. Buddhist leaders say the initiative is intended to make temples more accessible and relevant to younger generations who are increasingly disconnected from organized religion. However, it is warned that the long-term challenge will be balancing innovation with preserving the spiritual principles and traditions that define the faith.
Raobi Stud Farm has hosted the first Arabian Horse Beauty Championship in the Palestine city, bringing together around 340 horses from across the West Bank and Israel. The event featured competitions showcasing the beauty, heritage, and characteristics of Arabian horses, attracting breeders, owners, and enthusiasts. Organizers said staging the championship was challenging due to travel restrictions and Israeli checkpoints, which affected the movement of participants and horses. Despite these obstacles, the event provided a platform to celebrate the cultural significance of the Arabian hearse, which has long been associated with Arab history and identity. Prize winner Rashad Al-Sas said the Arabian hearse represents more than ownership, describing it as an important part of Arab heritage that remains deeply connected to people's emotions and traditions. Organizers said the championship aims to promote interest in Arabian hearses and strengthen the role of equestrian culture in the region. The 55th Navy Cup International Yacht Race has begun in Istanbul, bringing together sailors for one of Turkey's longest-running and most recognized offshore sailing competitions. The race started on July 11 from the Bosphorus, with participating yachts embarking on a demanding route across the Marmara Sea. The event highlights Turkey's strategic maritime location connecting the Black Sea and Mediterranean while offering international crews a challenging course combining open sea navigation, changing weather conditions, and historic waterways. Stretching from Istanbul to Cezme and passing through one of Turkey's most significant maritime routes, the Navy Cup continues to strengthen the country's position on the international sailing calendar while promoting regional tourism, marine sports, and cross-border participation in competitive sailing.
Thousands of revelers packed the streets of Pamplona on Monday as Spain's world-famous San Fermin festival officially began with the traditional Chupinazo rocket launch, kicking off 9 days of celebration and the iconic running of bulls. The first Encierro, or Bull Run, saw massive fighting bulls charge through the city's narrow, crowded streets as runners attempted to stay close to the animals without being trampled or gored. Dressed in the festival's traditional white attire and red scarves, festival goers filled the plaza consistorial hours before the ceremony, singing, dancing, and chanting as musicians paraded through the historic city center. The atmosphere erupted when the ceremonial rocket was fired from the City Hall balcony, officially opening the festivities. The San Fermin Festival attracts hundreds of thousands of visitors from around the world each year and remains one of Spain's biggest tourist attractions, generating significant revenue for the tourism and hospitality sectors. Authorities deployed extensive security and emergency services across the city to manage the massive crowds, while additional measures were introduced to curb alcohol-related incidents and provide medical assistance throughout the festival. Despite recurring safety concerns and criticism from animal rights groups, the centuries-old celebration continues to draw visitors from across Europe, the Americas, and Asia, many describing the event as a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
The Da Nang International Fireworks Festival has concluded with a grand finale featuring performances by China and Portugal along the Han River in Vietnam. Thousands of residents and tourists gathered outside the ticketed viewing areas to watch the final performances and celebrate the event. Many attendees said experiencing the festival among the crowds along the river had become an important part of the annual celebration. Visitors from both Vietnam and abroad joined the event, praising the festive atmosphere and community spirit. While Portugal owned this year's competition, organizers and spectators highlighted the festival's broader role in bringing people together. The annual Fireworks Festival has become one of Da Nang's major cultural and tourism events, attracting large numbers of visitors to the central Vietnamese city.
many countries can you recognize by just looking at their flags? 20, 40, maybe 60. Today I'm joined by a young prodigy from Kathmandu, Nepal, who has far surpassed those numbers. At just 10 years old, Kripal Paudel secured his place in the World Book of Records by successfully identifying and reciting the flags of every country in the world in just 1 minute and 40 seconds. This historic feat was officially recorded on July 10, 2024. Kripal, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Are you excited for the interview?
Yes, I'm already excited for this interview.
We'll show you random 40 flags and you have to name them as fast as possible.
Canada, Morocco, Russia, Malaysia, Thailand, Ethiopia, Guatemala, Belgium, Dominican Republic, Switzerland, Lithuania, Iceland, Italy, Spain, Ecuador, Montenegro, Cuba, Rwanda, South Korea, Haiti, Chile, Bolivia, Luxembourg, Honduras, Venezuela, Bangladesh, Portugal, Estonia, Kenya, Vietnam, Belarus, Greece, Nicaragua, Uruguay, Colombia, Finland, Zimbabwe, Peru, Tunisia, Ireland, Netherlands, Kosovo.
So, Kripal, how do you memorize them when you see a flag? Do you see a picture or do you see the name of the country instantly in your head?
First of all, it's interest of any people. Like I have an interest in geography. I read geography books and I know the flags of these countries so well.
When did you first realize you had this superpower? And was it just a hobby or you had to memorize for school exams?
No, it was not to memorize for school exams. It was my hobby, and I have recognized it like for last 3 years, 4 years like that.
So walk us through your world record journey.
So it was amazing and wonderful. And throughout the journey, we introduced a form in the Worldwide Book of Records. And as the journey continues, we attended this record in my school, and we got that certificate and all that medals, etc.
How does it feel to represent Nepal on the global stage of the World Book of Records?
It was very proud to recognize my country, my motherland, Nepal, to recognize on the world's global. Yeah, it is so. It means that Nepalese peoples are also educated.
Now tell us more about yourself. Is it just flags or are you this fast with maths, history, dates or any other subjects?
Yeah, all subjects I got full marks in practical also, theory also. And all subjects I'm very good at, excellent at. But it's all about creativity of an normal people. Every people has an interest, and if they follow their interest, they will become success in the world.
Do you consider your talent as normal?
Yeah, it's normal for me. I don't know how other people will think about it.
Who is your biggest cheerleader?
My parents are my biggest cheerleaders. They support me in every way. They support me in every situation, and I'm very thankful to have parents like them.
Let's talk beyond your world record.
Yes.
Who is Kripal Paudel and what are your interests?
So, Kripal Paudel is basically a normal person. My hobbies are to study about geography, to study about politics, to study about news, climates, and beyond that studies, I also have interest in sports and other categories.
Okay, now let's talk about your future. You've already bagged the world record now. What's next?
After an attempt in Guinness Book of World Records, and I'm doing 3D animation in Blender, 2D animation in After Effects, Adobe Premiere Pro, and Illustrator also. And also, it's been great to do this.
You're interested in technology as well?
Yes. I didn't have a decision to become what in future.
Oh, you've not decided yet?
Yes. I'm so small too.
So when you think about you being an adult, what comes to your mind? What profession suits you?
I have been doing the 3D animation in the past like 1 year, and I'm doing a great job in 3D animation. So my interest is 3D animation also.
So outside of flags and studying, what is Kripal's favorite thing to do?
I want to socialize with my parents, and I want to travel also. I want to travel the world's countries.
Now, here's a fun segment. I'll ask you a question. You need to answer in one word, or you can just answer it in one sentence. Are you ready?
Yes.
The first question is, which one do you think is the coolest looking or has the best color or shape?
I'm not disrespecting every flags. They are all beautiful in their people's angles. But as being a Nepali flags is a different one from all the world's flag.
Which one was the hardest to memorize?
So probably the longer words flag, like it can be anything like Kyrgyzstan and maybe Uzbekistan. I saw many flags like Monaco and Indonesia. They are same. Indonesia and Poland are also same. Ireland and Cote d'Ivoire, they are also similar.
Is there a country you want to visit just because its flag is cool?
The coolest one I want to go to is Switzerland, maybe.
Switzerland, just because its flag is beautiful?
Yes.
Are you interested in just countries or the cities as well?
As learning geography, cities are also important to learn, and I am learning about cities as well as the states as well.
Do you ever see flags in your dreams?
I haven't seen a flag in my dream.
Now we've come to the end of the show. Do you have anything that you want to share with your audience?
I'm very grateful to my parents and thankful to my parents. And also I learned 3D animation in Pixel Media, which is a company that provides you to how to learn about 3D animation, 2D animation. And I want to thank to all the members of the NTV World to giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
"45 minutes flight across 214 kilometers, we landed at the Simikot airport. It was a great relief to land in Simikot for us, who had spent few days in hot Nepalganj. The cool breeze welcomed us to our great expectations. According to locals, Simikot got its name with the combination of Simi and Kot. Indeed, it is the combination of Sim meaning wetland and Kot meaning green meadow. Simikot is a major point for pilgrims traveling to Mount Kailas and Mansarovar in Tibet via Hilsa. This is the easiest way to the Mansarovar, and thus many Indian pilgrims are seen here.
मेन त यो हुम्ला सिमीकोट चाहिँ तपाईको अब भनौं न अब कैलाश मानसरोवरकै गेटवे भएकोले एउटा यहाँ आउने भयो। अब हामीलाई पनि अब भनौं न तपाईको हुम्ला सिमीकोट चाहिँ अब तपाईको यो सदरमुकाम हो, मेन ल्यान्डिङ पोइन्ट हो हैन। अब यहाँबाट तपाईको पर्यटकहरुलाई जस्तै हाम्रो यहाँ रलिङ गुम्बाहरु छ, खारबुनाथ मन्दिरहरु छ हैन। अब जस्तै यहाँ तपाईको एकदम के भन्छ प्राकृतिक सुन्दरताहरु हेर्ने ठाउँहरु थुप्रै छ। किनभने हामीले त्यो ठाउँहरुलाई चाहिँ फोकस गर्न नसकेर बाहिर ल्याउन नसकेर मात्र हो। अब ल्याउन सक्यो भने पर्यटनहरु आवश्यक नै बढी मात्रामा बढ्छ भन्ने आशा छ।
We arrived Simikot with a throng of travelers to Humla, comprising some domestic and foreign tourists. Soon our team became a cozy group of travelers. We traveled together to Limi of Namkha, among the 7 rural municipalities of the district, Simikot,
Namkha, Kharpunath, Changkheli, Sarkegard, Adnacholi and Tanjakot. The jeep ride in the gravel road is some kind of experience in this majestic terrain. However, we were disturbed by the landslides at various places of the rural road and left to travel on foot. We arrived at Chaudan Foya after a few hours of walk, but our overnight stay was still a few hours trek to Dharapuri. We stopped at many places on our way just to capture the natural beauty of the place and feel the magic in the air. These hills and the spontaneous Karnali river kept inspiring us. And on the way we see many stories of hope, determination and struggle of the locals. It was almost dusk, but our destination was still at some distance. So we increased our pace along with the local children accompanying us. We are thankful to these kids, without whom we would not have been able to know some of the very well-known places on the way. Almost 8:30 in the evening, we were still struggling to find the house where we were supposed to spend the night. Now our team was no more intact, as all had their own arrangements in small groups. We had no option but to find a place to rest for the night. We were overwhelmed by the humility and warmth of the local people. They offered a bunch of unknown travelers food and accommodation with open heart. This reminded us of the slogan, "Guest is God," in real terms. Not the most affluent of the societies, but very welcoming at heart. In need, but have the humility. Poverty-ridden, but full of humanity. We salute the rural folks who mess around the year in this inhospitable terrain for survival. The next morning, we all get together. Our next destination was Kermi. The whistling sound of Karnali flowing down somewhere, the rocky hills and the small trails like ropes attached in these hills. Risky and dangerous. Not the best of conditions for trekking, but that's where the thrill is. That's where the adventure is. The waterfalls and ponds on the way relieve us from our fatigue instantly. Chachara is one of the biggest waterfalls in this place. The soothing touch of the crystal clear water of the fall is refreshing. Our lunch was at Dade Kermi, where small tents were set up by the locals to serve food and some rest for travelers. The Chinese stoves used here are smokeless and must have eased the life of the rural folks to a larger extent. We had seen these types of stoves in Dharapuri as well. Before starting another long day of trek after lunch, we had a little rest here. Our journey to Limi is still a long way to finish. We also did not get any chance of hitchhiking as no vehicle was plying on the road due to landslide obstructions. Our journey was getting arduous by the hour, but we did not miss the chance to enjoy the natural wonder of the region. Agriculture and cattle are the main profession of the people here. People raise yaks in this rugged terrain, though they have to migrate in winter to find better grazing land locally called kharka for their prized possessions. We found herds of yaks at different places on the way. We even stopped at one of these grazing camps for a cup of tea. This place is called Lashing. The tea served here is special with ghee and salt added for extra energy in the cold temperature. No wonder some of us were enjoying this tea for the first time. To our great relief, we got the news that a goods-laden truck was heading towards Limi from Tibet of China. However, we still had some distance to cover to catch the truck. We all wanted to rush with the hope to reach there in time to get a lift. At the moment, we are at Chanso, where there is not enough place for our jumbo team to spend the night. Finally, we decided to spend the night in Chanso itself, as the way ahead was more difficult and riskier. Two families had set up their yak camps here and living in two tents. Our big team had to divide and accommodate in these two tents for the night. We squeezed in for the night anyhow. It's a beautiful morning with bright blue sky, surrounded by tall hills, waterfalls and the whistling Karnali. It was nothing less than a piece of heaven on earth. We mingled with the locals for some times.
गाह्रै छ पानी पनि यहाँ समस्या छ दाउरा पनि समस्या छ यहाँ गाह्रै छ गाह्रो त यस पुल पनि समस्या छ यहाँ नराम्रो ठाउँमा बसेका छन् यहाँ चिसो ठाउँमा यस्तो समस्या छ नि
यहाँ हामीसँग धेरै चुनौतीहरू पनि छ जस्तै एक्सेसको कुरा गर्ने हो भने रोड राम्रो बनिसकेको छैन अनि त्यसपछि तपाईँ सञ्चारहरू छैन बाटोमा टी सपहरू छैन त्यसपछि त्यही अनुसार जस्तै टुरिज्म व्यवसायको लागि चाहिएको तपाईको के भन्छ यो के रे ह्युमन रिसोर्सहरू पनि राम्रोसँग दक्ष छैन हैन
We had to climb up to the altitude of 4,800 meters to reach Limi. We decided to travel on horses as we were too tired to walk now. We managed horses for our team and set out on our way. We stopped at a beautiful natural pond, locally known as Selima. No one has dared to measure the depth of this pond till date. No one is aware of the mathematics of this ancient natural lake. We also moved ahead with the enthusiasm as to why. No one knows it. 2 hours on the horseback, we arrive at Nyalul Langna at an altitude of 4,800 meters above sea level. Surrounded by white mountains and hills, we found 2 Chinese trucks ready to leave for Limi. It took some effort to climb onto these huge carriers. Around 100 people had boarded on each truck. The local people were also waiting for the truck to depart like we were. The gravelled road and overloaded trucks. The ride was not very comfortable, but we did not have much option either to move ahead. After around 5 hours rough ride, we arrived at Halji village of Limi. Three villages, Tili, Halji and Jang, were collectively called Limi. It was almost evening by the time we reached Halji. The sight of Karnali snaking between the hills, symmetrical houses, green meadows, and the hearty welcome of the locals relieved of our fatigue. Cattle, farming and trade were the main profession of the Denizens of Halji. Yak, growing uwa, a special grain used in making liquor, and traveling to and from Taklakut via Hilsa for trade is part of their life for the locals. Despite the beauty of this magical land, it's far away from tourism. Hardly 50 tourists from outside set their foot on this area every year. The millennium-old Halji monastery, built by Locha Warinche Samo, is the pride of this place. Monk Samo had built this monastery as the last of his 108 structures around the world. monk Samo is believed to have died while constructing this monastery. The ancient heritage, at the risk of landslide, awaits preservation and promotion.
दायाँको त्यहाँ पहिरोको डर छ यहाँ हैन त्यहाँ बायाँको त्यही डोरीको दुख छ प्रत्येक ढुङ्गाको धेरै दुख छ बिचमा खानु पाउनको पेटको दुख छ यहाँ धेरै आवश्यक छ के छ यहाँ गुम्बा विधानमा त्यही सबै ती पुरानो लिङ्ग मूर्तिकुटी माटोमा लिगेर ती बिग्री जान्छ
We had the opportunity to see the local culture and lifestyle during our trek in Limi. What impressed us the most was the dress, including local bakhu, sonba, chino and quinoa bread. Mount Kailas and the Mansarovar in China are clearly visible from Lapcha of Limi. 7 to 8 hours of truck ride from Halji, we can reach there. We were very much eager to see the Mansarovar and Mount Kailas, so we went to Limi. But to our bad luck, the weather did not help us. We waited for some time for the weather to clear, but there was no sign whatsoever, and we returned disappointed. Had the weather been kind, this was the sight we would have been able to see. Our journey to Limi thus ended on a sad note. We head back to Simikot and Nepalganj and finally to Kathmandu. Back in Kathmandu, every scene and sight we saw on the way is coming back in flashback. Being in this place itself is a treat to the eyes and mind. You forget all the fatigue and physical pain once you reach in this oasis. Undoubtedly, Humla, bordering Mugu, Bachura, Bazan and China towards the north, is a piece of heaven on earth. Pokhara is undoubtedly #1 destination for tourists in Nepal. The valley, blessed with natural beauty, attracts domestic and foreign tourists alike. You must have already visited Pokhara. If you haven't or planning another trip, then these are some of the must-go places in Pokhara. The first attraction in Pokhara is the Feva Lake. Boating in Feva Lake is a ritual for every tourist visiting this paradise. The Tal Barahi temple at the center of the lake adds to the beauty of the place. A round-trip boat ride in Feva Lake to and from the temple is a feature of both the lake as well as the temple. Separate boat ride, watching the reflection of Mount Machapuchre on the lake and fishing spice up the Feva experience. The lakeside along the banks of the Feva Lake is a popular tourist hub. Many tourists in Pokhara choose Devi's Fall as their second destination in Pokhara. The water from Feva Lake exits towards Seti River through the Gupteshwar cave from this Devi's Fall. The mighty water stream rushing deep down into the gorge, covered by water vapor, is a magical sight. Pokhara is known as the city of lakes and caves. Many of the lakes and caves have religious importance. This is Gupteshwar cave at Chorepatan area. Inside the cave, the idol of Lord Shiva is a well-known pilgrimage. Further inside the cave, one can see the Devi's Fall. Mahendra Cave is another famous place in Pokhara, and nearby is another well-known Chamere cave. Both the caves can be visited together. Two other well-known tourist destinations in Pokhara are Begnas and Rupa lakes. Fresh fish of Begnas Lake is a sought-after delicacy. Rupa Lake is just round the corner beyond a small hill towards the eastern edge of Begnas Lake. Away from the hustle and bustle of the town, Begnas and Rupa lakes cannot be taken out of a tourist's itinerary. This is the famous White Monastery on top of the hill above Feva Lake. This is also a popular destination for domestic as well as foreign tourists. The top-angle bird's-eye view of Pokhara city from the monastery is a sight to behold. The placid Feva Lake, the tall mountain range, and the birds like paragliding pilots on the background of Sarankot Hill are mesmerizing. The Bindabasini temple in Pokhara is a famous shrine in Nepal. The best route to visit the temple is on the way to Sarankot. Devotees throng the Bindabasini temple, which is atop a small hill with panoramic view of Pokhara city. The Bindabasini temple is famous among the Hindus across the country. Sarangkot is a hill station on top of a hill on the northwestern side of Pokhara. A must-go place to see the majestic Mount Machapuchre and Mount Dhaulagiri in the Annapurna range in front of the eyes, and also the Pokhara and Leknath cities on the other side. Sarangkot is synonymous to paragliding in Nepal. Taking off from the Sarangkot hill, one can enjoy the panoramic mountain range in addition to the bird's eye view of Pokhara city. Ultralight and zip flyer offer a thrill to adventure seekers in Pokhara and are becoming major interests for tourists. Other places, including Swarak in Sangja, have the potential to be world's best place for paragliding. First time in Nepal, Paragliding Accuracy World Cup was held at this place, situated at Mahapur of Virkot municipality of the district. The place drew global attention after the event. Pokhara, famous tourism destination of the country. Majority of locals engaged in tourism industry. The city of lakes and caves, hub of aviation sports. Some major destinations: Lakeside, Feva Lake and Tal Barahi Temple, Begnas and Rupa Lakes, Mahendra Gufa.
At every bend of the serpentine Bheri River, a new face of nature emerges. Each turn revealing a beauty so varied and mesmerizing that it moves the heart moment by moment. Traveling from Chinchu of Surkhet through Jare and Mehelkura toward Gorbakot, the Bheri displays its quiet miracles. Over its crystal blue flow drifts the rustle and chirping of dozens of birds. The whisper of nearby trees merges with the vast blue sky, reflecting a harmony of natural splendor. Cutting through Chinchu, heading along the proud and scenic terrain of Gorbakot, our thoughts find themselves racing steadily along the Madan Bhandari highway toward Lake Besi in Surkhet. Our destination, the Raute settlement. We seek to observe closely the lifestyle of this indigenous group, long perceived as distant. We hope to feel a sense of closeness with a community rarely encountered, where the Raute, in the most authentic form, stand before us to share their stories. The Raute have cultivated a unique identity as Nepal's nomadic ethnic group. If someone in their settlement dies, they immediately abandon that location and do not return for 10 years, a tradition that makes permanent settlement extremely challenging. Their temporary homes are built by fixing wooden stakes into the ground, tying cross pieces, and covering the structure with old cloth and tarpaulin.
सधैँभरि यो पुर्खा मेरो पुर्खौली त्यस्तो छ त्यस्तो नभइदिए भए एक ठाउँमा बस्ने थियो एक ठाउँमा नभए यो हजुरलाई हल्देवार यो घर बनाउँछौँ त्यस्तो घर हामीले मन पर्दैन मेरो मन परेको यही यस्तै चिरपाल तागा तागाको राम्रो हुन्छ हामीले यस्तै मन पराउँछ यही गाडो लगाएर राम्रो मान्छौँ अब पहिला हेर्न जानु पर्यो पहिला सब त्यो हेर्न तपाई आफै यो हामी आफू त जाँदैन केटाउरु जान्छ त केटाउरु गएर फेरि हेरेर ठाउँ राम्रो छ कि नराम्रो छ कि भनेर ठाउँ यो जहाँ ठाउँ राम्रो भयो त्यही जाने यस्तै पाखामा को बस्न सक्छ र यतै समूह जग्गा चाहियो.
Especially during winter, protecting themselves from the cold becomes difficult. They sleep on the bare ground with only thin tarpaulins, not enough clothing to cover their bodies fully. Men wear a loincloth and wrap their backs with coarse cloth, knotted in front and falling to the thighs, with a cap or a small turban on their heads. Women wear a short, patterned skirt of rough fabric and a handmade blouse that covers only part of the torso and chest. Women adorn themselves with earrings, necklaces and bracelets made of iron, brass and aluminum. When we visited in late Kartik, the cold had already set in, yet the Rauti sat on the ground as usual. Even when ill, they rely solely on their chieftain, traditional healing practices and herbal remedies. The Rauti tell that the community consists of 3 clans, Katyal, Raskoti and Samalvanshi Shahi. According to the National Census of 2021, Rauti population stands at 566. It was 618 in the 2011 census.
बात यो कोही मान्छे यो पहिला पहिला त आया थिएन अब आजभोलि त यो चामल पनि आउँछ भट्टा पनि लाग्यो हो कि होइन चामल पनि आउँछ यो चिपाल पनि आउँछ बालङ्कित आउँछ खाना पुग्यो त भइयो अब भोकै मरेको छैन के अरे बाहिरबाट आयो भने कामधारी त गर्नु पर्यो हो कि होइन त्यो काम कुसी बनाउनु पर्यो मधुस बनाउनु पर्यो खाद बनाउनु पर्छ अब दराजुरो हामी बनाउँदैन हजुर.
Traditionally, the Rauti have lived in the forests, ravines and riverbanks of districts like Dailek, Jajarkot, Surkhet, Acham, Salyan, Dang and Kalikot. They dwell in the wilderness, hunt monkeys and carve wooden utensils which they exchange for grain in nearby villages. It's a cycle that sustains their livelihood. The Rauti have distinct marriage customs. After marriage, a separate area is set aside for the couple. According to Rauti belief, a widow should not remarry after her husband's death. Marriages occur strictly within their own community between Rauti youths. Apart from cooking pots at home, an axe for cutting trees, and a chisel-like tool for shaping wood, the Rauti do not store belongings. Men prefer to hunt monkeys using traps, while women gather wild roots and tubers. With just an axe and chisel, they craft wooden utensils. Once, the Rauti believed touching money would bring misfortune. They also avoided speaking with outsiders. But today, they readily ask anyone for money, an indicator of the slow transformation in their lifestyle and consumption habits.
मेरो नाम फुलमाया.
कति वर्षको भयो?
म 18 भयो.
अनि स्कुल जाँदैन?
स्कुल त जान थियो पहिला त जान दिएन. आज भोलि पनि स्कुल जान दिन्न.
कसले?
मुखियाले.
किन नि?
मुखियाले नि पढ्न लेख्न दिन्न त.
किन होला त त्यस्तो?
खै के पो होला नि मुखियाले दिन्न नि. पढ्न जान त मन त लाग्छ तर पढ्न दिन्न.
In recent years, increasing dependence on alcohol has begun to create serious health issues within the community.
कहीं न कहीं यो यहाँ जंगल में बसने बाजार हेर्न जाने बरु चिस्टुडा आडा महिने मान्छेमा कसैले बजारको नशा हुन्छ त्यो नाश हेर्न जाने कसैले यो मौसुक लाग्छ चिस्टु मौसुक यो जंगलबाट मौसुक हेरे पनि झन् आउन मान्छे यो मेरो परिवर्तन नगर्ने मान्छे परिवर्तन गरेको कहिले पनि राम्रो भन्दैन हामी मेरो पुर्खैबाट यो परिवर्तन नगरेको मान्छे परिवर्तन गरेको न यो पैसा चाहिँ आँखाले पैसा चिने त भइहाल्यो.
Nepal's constitution not only recognizes the equal existence, rights and dignity of all ethnic groups, but also ensures fair protection, upliftment, empowerment and development of marginalized and endangered communities. The state has pledged equal distribution of economic, social and cultural opportunities with special provisions for the protection and advancement of disadvantaged people within minority groups. Although the federal and provincial governments have introduced various programs for the Raute community in recent years, the lives of the Raute have yet to see the meaningful improvement envisioned.
Monsoon rain triggered floods and landslide disrupt daily life across Nepal. 2 killed in Kalikot district. Authorities urge caution. Nepal completes largest ever data migration. Personal details of over 10 million Nepalis transferred to new passport vendor. 213th Bhanu Jayanti being celebrated, commemorating pioneer poets' contributions. Speaker Aryal lauds his role in raising literary consciousness. Heavy rains and flash floods in Bangladesh leave 51 dead. Most fatalities reported in Cox's Bazar, Rohingya refugee area. At least 28 killed after fire engulfs a bar in Thailand's Bangkok. Electrical fault in air conditioner linked to the incident. And FIFA I-64 team World Cup expansion chief Infantino says move to allow more nations to chase global glory. Hello there, I am April Singh Lama and this is NTV World News Hour coming to you live from Kathmandu at 2200 hours Nepal time. Now the news in detail. Nepal's Department of Hydrology and Meteorology has warned of possible flash floods in small rivers across several districts over the next 3 days as heavy to very heavy rainfall continues in many parts of Nepal. Authorities have advised people to remain cautious while traveling, especially on roads near rivers, landslide-prone hills and flood risk areas. Widespread rainfall has been recorded across the country, including the Kathmandu Valley, with some areas experiencing heavy to very heavy downpours. Makwanpur Gadi and Magdi recorded the highest rainfall in the past 24 hours at 121 millimeters, followed by Sunsari with 117 millimeters, while Kathmandu's Chandragiri rain station recorded 93.6 millimeters of rainfall. Meanwhile, 2 persons have died after being buried in a heavy rain-triggered landslide in western district of Kalikot this afternoon. We will delve deeper into this in our segment Issue of the Day later in the bulletin. Moving on, Nepal's Department of Passports has started passport services today through the new passport production and management system. The department under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has successfully completed the country's largest data migration in history and started operating passport services. After implementing such a large-scale information technology system, it will be natural to see some technical challenges, system slowness and minor delays in passport issuance in the initial days, according to the department. The department has stated that as a preparation for such possible situations, the department's technical team and staff, along with experts from the system development company, have been on standby around the clock, continuously monitoring, testing and improving the system. We will bring you a detailed report on the upgraded passport in our segment Cover Story later in the bulletin. Now, the 213th birth anniversary of Adi Kavi Bhanubhakta Acharya is being commemorated today through various programs organized by the Nepali community both at home and abroad. Born on Asar 29, 1871 BS of Nepali lunar calendar in Nepal's western Tanhu district, Bhanubhakta is celebrated as the first poet of Nepali literature. He played a vital role in fostering national unity through language, literature and culture by producing timeless literary works. Bhanubhakta made an immense contribution to Nepali literature and cultural identity by emotionally translating the Ramayana, originally written in Sanskrit, into the Nepali language. We will bring more on this issue in our detailed report later in the bulletin. Now, at least 51 people have died and more than 1 million affected by heavy rainfall in Bangladesh in recent years. Now, more than half the deaths so far have occurred in Cox's Bazar, home to a large Rohingya refugee populations. Bangladesh is a low-lying country that has many rivers and often sees heavy rain and floods during its annual monsoon season. But experts warn that climate change has made rainfall more intense and more frequent. The heavy rain began more than a week ago, and as it intensified in recent days, authorities issued warnings about floods and landslides, evacuated families in high-risk areas, and postponed student exams. A huge fire tore through a bar in Bangkok late on Sunday, killing at least 28 people and leaving 25 critically injured. The blaze started near the stage of the bar in the popular Chatuchak district, then spread rapidly, cutting power and engulfing the room with smoke, according to eyewitnesses. Firefighters found the bodies of most of the victims in a bathroom where they had apparently sought shelter. Preliminary investigations by Bangkok's Disaster Mitigation Department suggest the fire could have been caused by an electrical short circuit in an air conditioner, though no official cause has been given. FIFA will assess plans to expand the Men's World Cup to 64 teams after the 2026 tournament, President Gianni Infantino said, following that he described as the success of the expanded 48-team format. Infantino said the review would examine how a larger tournament could be organized to ensure greater global participation, arguing that every nation should have the opportunity to compete for a place at the World Cup. He pointed to the performance of African teams in the expanded 2026 tournament as evidence of the benefits of broader inclusion. FIFA expanded the World Cup from 32 to 48 teams for the ongoing 2026 edition, with the new format allowing more countries from different regions to take part. Heavy rain isn't just filling rivers, it's disrupting roads, homes and travel across Nepal. After the break, we'll show you where floods and landslides have caused the biggest impact. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Welcome back. Continuous monsoon rainfall has triggered floods and landslides across Nepal, damaging infrastructure, disrupting transport networks, and impacting daily lives. The Department of Hydrology and Meteorology said the current weather pattern is being driven by monsoon winds combined with a low-pressure system near the Tarai region, warning that rainfall intensity could increase further. We take a closer look in this report.
Heavy monsoon rains are disrupting normal life across Nepal, with floods and landslides damaging homes, breezes, and key transport routes in several parts of the country. The Department of Hydrology and Meteorology, in wake of the incessant rainfall, has issued flood alerts for dozens of districts across Koshi, Bagmati, Gandaki, Lumbini, and Madhya provinces, where continued rainfall could trigger floods and landslides for next 3 days. It also has warned that Kathmandu Valley, including Kathmandu, Bhaktapur and Lalitpur, along with surrounding districts, remain at high risk of sudden flooding due to the intense rainfall. The impact has been severe in mountainous and hilly regions, where difficult terrain and fragile infrastructure have increased the risk of disruption. In Kaski, a flood in local Kimrungkhola River in Annapurna Rural Municipality caused the water level in local Modikhola River to rise, damaging riverside settlements. A house and hotel belonging to local Dilip Gurung were completely swept away, while a restaurant owned by Jaganpun has been damaged. The flood also washed away a section of the Nayapul Ghandruk road, cutting road access to the popular tourist destination of Ghandruk. Monsoon damage has also disrupted major highways across the country. In Baglung, the Kaligandaki corridor reopened after an 8-hour closure caused by a landslide at Gaganekhola in Jaimini municipality. However, traffic has again been halted along the Karnali highway in Kalikot after another landslide blocked the Gaganekhola section. In eastern Nepal, a section of the Mechi highway in Rajduwali in Ilam has remained affected for 5 days after a landslide caused the road to collapse. With alternative routes also blocked, road connectivity between Ilam, Pastar and Taplezung with Jhapa remains disrupted. Floods have also washed away diversions over the Jogmai and Pua rivers, further restricting movement in the region. Meanwhile, the Narangad-Mugling road section has also been blocked due to monsoon-related hazards. Efforts to clear the route are underway, but continuous heavy rainfall has made it difficult to remove the landslide debris. With this, vehicles have been stranded on both sides of the road. As heavy rainfall continues across the country, authorities meanwhile have urged travelers to check weather and road conditions before embarking on journeys, avoiding high-risk routes and follow safety advisories.
As heavy monsoon rains increase travel risks, we spoke to the public about the precautions they believe travelers should take during the rainy season. Let's hear what they had to say.
ढुङ्गाहरू झर्छ हेर्नु पर्यो जानु पर्यो खाल्टा खुल्टी त्यही त हो नि तारै हिँड्ने बाटो चिप्लो हुन्छ ब्रेक लाग्दैन भन्ने ठाउँमा अलि स्पिड नजाने अलि खाल्टो खुल्टी जोगाएर त्यही कारणले हिँड्ने सर अब बाटो अब बर्खाको बेलामा त कतिखेर के हुन्छ भन्ने थाहा हुँदैन
गाडीको अवस्था हेर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ अब मौसमको अवस्था हेर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ खतरा जन्ने ठाउँहरूको विषयमा हामीले पहिले विचार पुर्याउनु पर्ने हुन्छ
पहिरो आछ भने हेरेर हैन रोकेर अनि झरेर हेरेर अनि जानु पर्यो
पानी परिराखेको हुन्छ बाटो चिप्लो हुन्छ त्यसमा अब इभी अहिलेको इभीको जमाना छ इभी एकदमै स्पिड कुदाउँछन् त्यसमा अलि विचार गर्नु पर्यो
चालकको हातमा हुन्छ सबै कुरा तर यसले पनि अवस्था कस्तो छ बाटोको हैन अनि अब कसैको ड्राइभरले कसरी चाहिँ चलाइराछ हेर्न त सक्छ नि बुझ्न त सक्छ नि
मौसमको जानकारी लिनु पर्यो हैन अब आधिकारिक सूचनाहरू सरकारबाट आइरहेका हुन्छन् जस्तै राजमार्गहरूतिर पनि यो राजमार्ग बन्द छ यो बेलामा पानी पर्छ हैन उहाँहरूले जानकारी दिनु भएको हुन्छ हैन त्यसको बारेमा जानकारी लिने यात्रा गर्दाखेरि औषधिको एकदम आफूसँग बोकेर हिँड्नु छ आफूलाई अत्यारो त्यो औषधि त्यसै पानी अनि सामान्य 1-2-4 घण्टा लगभग 2-4 घण्टा जामै पर्यो भने पनि बाँच्न सक्ने अवस्थाका आधारभूत आवश्यकताको चिजहरूलाई लिएर हिँड्दाखेरि सहज होला गन्तव्य कहाँसम्म हाम्रो हो त्यो कुरा बुझेर सबै कुरो कस्तो दुरुस्त छ भने घरबाट निस्किने यदि होइन भने यदि अति आवश्यक छ भने मात्र निस्किने पहिरोको साथसाथै माथिबाट कहिलेकाहीँ ढुङ्गाहरू पनि खस्ने गर्छ त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि हामीले चाहिँ माथिबाट हेर्दाखेरि ढुङ्गा खस्दैछ कि त्यो पनि ध्यान राखेर ड्राइभ गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ
सरकारले अब सूचनाहरू दिएको यो ठाउँमा नजानु भनेर सूचनाहरू दिनुभएको छ भने अत्यावश्यक काम छ भने मात्र जाने हैन बिना फोकटमा चाहिँ नहिँडिने
Nepal has quietly completed one of the biggest digital transitions ever, moving the passport records of over 10 million citizens. Up next, more on how the new e-passports could make the process faster and more secure. You're watching NTV World News Hour. Time for the cover story. Nepal is currently ranked 97th in the 2026 Henley Passport Index. Singapore remains at the top of the Henley Passport Index, with its passport providing access to 195 destinations without a prior visa. The index, which measures passport strength based on international travel access, shows that Nepali passport holders can currently travel to 35 destinations with visa-free entry or visa-on-arrival facilities. Though it climbed to 97th place from 101st of last year, Nepal's passport remains among the lower ranked globally in terms of travel freedom. The Henley Passport Index ranks passports based on the number of destinations their holders can access without obtaining a visa in advance, using data from the International Air Transport Association (IATA). In the broader Global Citizen Solutions Index, Nepal ranks 164th, placing it among lower-tier passports worldwide, though it offers greater mobility than countries such as Pakistan and Afghanistan. Nepal has completed a historic data migration, largest ever in history, by transferring the personal details of over 10 million Nepali nationals on a go. As the new Germany-based company printed e-passports come into use, the data migration from the earlier French company to the new vendor marks first ever data migration in such large volume. Here's a report.
Nepal enters a new phase of immigration data following the successful completion of data migration of more than 10 million Nepalis. The migration was done as part of e-passport printing and procurement deal from the earlier French company to a German company. With the rollout of the German printed e-passports, the transfer of records for more than 10 million Nepalis who had previously obtained passports printed by the French company has now been completed. This is Nepal's largest ever successful data migration, transferring the passport records to nearly 10 million Nepali citizens to the new system. The government of Nepal signed an agreement with a German company to procure and print 6.4 million e-passports over the next 5 years, and the new distribution has started under that agreement. Meanwhile, the department has started the distribution of the new e-passports beginning Monday. According to the department, the new ones are resistant to tearing, water damage, and scratches, making them significantly more secure than the existing ones. The new e-passports are embedded with a digital chip that securely stores the holder's personal details.
The new company's passports, the features that we have now, that seems more secure and more strong. For example, if you try to tear the old passport with a blade, it is not so easy to tear it with a blade. And the second thing is the use of cotton. In every pages of the passport, there is almost 50% use of cotton, and that makes the passport more safe. Even if you leak some water on it, it will not make it wet. And also the national identity card number. Previously we would use the citizenship number, but now we have started to use only the national identity card number, and even the people can feel because it has some tactile features.
The department says the new system will eliminate tedious paperwork and make passport verification faster, safer, and more efficient. Unlike before, applications now need not upload copies of their citizenship certificate and national identity card while applying for passport. Instead, providing the national identity card number will be sufficient. The Department of Passports currently has a stock of 6.4 million e-passports, which it says is sufficient to meet demand for the next 5 years. The department receives between 5,000 and 6,000 passport applications each day, and it says it currently has the capacity to issue passports to meet the entire demand.
That was the cover story of the day. Now to remaining updates. Nepal's Prime Minister Balendra Shah has instructed to immediately forward the plan for the establishment of a well-equipped burn treatment center in all 7 provinces. During the meeting with Vice-Chancellors of various health science institutes convened at the office of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers today, Prime Minister Shah issued directives to forward necessary plan to upgrade burn wards in major government hospitals. Prime Minister Shah also asked the Vice-Chancellors for effective implementation of the arrangement of providing at least 10% services of the OPD service of private hospitals in a subsidized rate in order to expand health services for the access of citizens from poor financial background and who are helpless. The Nepal government has appointed Arjun Ghimire as chair of the Nepal Telecommunication Authority and Umesh Shrestha as chair of the Press Council Nepal following a cabinet decision made on July 8. Minister for Communications and Information Technology Dr. Bikram Thimosina handed over the appointment letters on Monday and urged both officials who were selected through a competitive process to deliver results with fairness, accountability and professionalism. The minister said the Press Council has a key role in tackling misinformation and disinformation and noted that the government is moving ahead with revisions to media-related laws, including the proposed Media Council Bill and Mass Media Bill. He also called on the NTA to prepare short, medium and long-term action plans to improve telecommunications services. Moving on, vehicles parked outside the main gates of 3 major media organizations in Kathmandu this morning caused disruptions and prompted concerns among media officials. The entrances of online cover in New Baneshwar, Nepal and Television in Mid Baneshwar and Kantipur Media Group in Tinkune were blocked after vehicles were left in front of their gates. According to eyewitnesses and media officials, the drivers left the vehicles after parking them at the locations. The obstruction prevented journalists and other staff from moving vehicles in and out of the premises, while also led to traffic congestion in parts of Kathmandu. Meanwhile, the ruling Rashtriya Swatantra Party has expressed serious concern over suspicious vehicles being parked outside the offices of various media outlets, saying such activities aimed at creating psychological pressure on journalists violate democratic values. Issuing a statement, RSP General Secretary Bipin Kumar Acharya said placing unidentified vehicles outside media houses was an unacceptable act intended to intimidate the press. The party reiterated its commitment to press freedom, citizens' right to information and independent journalism, stating that any attempt to interfere with media freedom, create fear among journalists or weaken the role of the press as the 4th pillar of democracy would not be tolerated. The 213th birth anniversary of Nepal's pioneer poet Bhanubhakta Acharya has been observed today in Nepal and abroad with various programs. Acharya is remembered for his significant contribution to uniting Nepalis through the literary works and promoting national identity, cultural awareness and Nepali heritage. Sarah Sapsanamarai looks more.
Nepal and Nepali communities around the world today celebrated the 213th birth anniversary of Adikavi Bhanubhakta Acharya, with literary and cultural programs honoring his enduring contribution to the Nepali language and literature. Government agencies, literary organizations, schools and cultural institutions organize poetry recitals, tribute ceremonies and discussions, remembering the pioneer poet whose translation of the Ramayana into Nepali made one of the world's greatest epics accessible to ordinary Nepali speakers. Similar celebrations were also held by Nepali diaspora communities in several countries, reflecting Bhanubhakta's continuing influence in preserving the Nepali language and cultural identity beyond Nepal.
सामाजिक संरचना बीच पनि हाम्रो भाषा संस्कृति र पहिचानलाई जोगाउन र उन्नत बनाउन हाम्रो सामूहिक जिम्मेवारी हो.
Every year on the 29th of Nepali month of Asar, Bhanu Jayanti is observed, commemorating the birth of Adikavi Bhanu Bhakta Acharya, whose literary legacy continues to inspire generations of Nepali speakers both at home and abroad.
A public school in central Nepal is turning textbook lessons into real products and income. Though a secondary school does not produce certified engineers, the 9th and 10th graders of this school are practically having their own eureka moment. Bijeta Bhandari, along with our local correspondent Siva Silwal, brings a report.
Have you heard of a school producing practical electrical engineers? At a public school in Nepal's Thading district, that idea is making it a reality by adopting learning by doing approach. Though not in the school curriculum, the students are learning electrical engineering in the classroom. Not just learning, in fact, they are manufacturing electric light bulbs, selling them in the market, and gaining practical skills that could help shape their future careers. In Dhunibesi municipality of the district, 80 students in grade 9 and 10 are enrolled in Trikuteshwari Secondary School's electrical engineering program. Instead of studying electrical circuits and components only in theory, students are assembling electric light bulbs themselves. The bulbs they produce are then already being sold in the local market, giving students first-hand experience in both production and entrepreneurship. The free technical education program is run by Dhunibesi municipality in partnership with a local organization, the Sheshkanta Foundation. Teachers say applying classroom lessons in real-life settings makes learning more effective and meaningful.
Electrical engineering सञ्चालन गर्दै गर्दा हामीमा चाहिँ के आयो भने हामी यो theoretical knowledge मात्र दिने हो भने चाहिँ काम छैन. यो theoretical भन्दा नि practical knowledge दिनु पर्यो भने हामीले practically बढी फोकस गरिरहेका छौं र मलाई लाग्छ इलेक्ट्रिकल इन्जिनियरिङ स्कुलहरु चाहिँ नेपालभरि जम्मा 38 वटा स्कुलहरु मात्रै छ 9-12 सञ्चालन भएको र यसैगरी सामान उत्पादन गरिरहेको हामीले चाहिँ जुन अहिले सुरु गरेका छौं इलेक्ट्रिकल लाइटहरु बल्बहरु हामीले विभिन्न डिफरेन्ट टाइप्सका बल्बहरु चाहिँ उत्पादन गर्न हाम्रा विद्यार्थीहरूले सुरु गरेका छन् र त्यो चाहिँ वास्तवमा भन्यो भने मलाई लाग्छ मैले बुझेसम्म एक दुईवटा स्कुल बाहेक त्यति धेरै स्कुलहरुले चाहिँ यसरी उत्पादनै गरेर आएको चाहिँ मैले देखेको छैन.
With their products now reaching the market, students say they are gaining confidence alongside the technical skills. For many, the program is equipping them with the knowledge and experience needed to start their own businesses or pursue skilled careers down the line, along with furthering the pursuit of scientific knowledge. The program is already drawing attention as a successful model in public school, though most of the students might not end up becoming a certified electrical engineer. The technical education program is definitely teaching them not only engineering but also entrepreneurship.
A local government in Nepal has launched a citizen oversight campaign aimed at improving transparency and public participation in development projects, offering a model for community-led monitoring of public infrastructure. Tulsipur's sub-metropolitan city, Ward number 11 in Dang district of Lumbini province, introduced the initiative titled Let's Go See Our Villages Development, inviting residents, elected representatives and political leaders to inspect completed projects across the ward. Ward Chair Man Bahadur Rawat said the campaign allows citizens to directly observe development works, assess their impact and strengthen accountability in the use of public resources. Local officials said projects are being implemented based on community priorities despite limited resources, with key focus areas including roads, bridges, education and healthcare. The initiative reflects participatory governance as communities are given a direct role in monitoring public projects, leading to enhancing transparency and public trust. Now, before we bring more updates, let's have a quick recap of the headlines. Monsoon rain triggered floods and landslides disrupt daily life across Nepal. 2 killed in Kalikot district. Authorities urge caution. Nepal completes largest ever data migration. Personal details of over 10 million Nepalis transferred to new passport vendor. 213th Bhanu Jayanti being celebrated, commemorating pioneer poets' contributions. Speaker Arya lauds his role in raising literary consciousness. Heavy rains and flash floods in Bangladesh leave 51 dead. Most fatalities reported in Cox's Bazar, Rohingya refugee area. At least 28 killed after fire in Gulf of Bar in Thailand's Bangkok. Electrical fault in air conditioner linked to the incident. And FIFA I-64 Team World Cup expansion chief Infantino says move to allow more nations to chase global glory. U.S. President Donald Trump says the U.S. is reinstating its blockade of Iranian ports in the Strait of Hormuz, beginning immediately. In a post on Truth Social, he says the U.S. will be the guardian of the vital waterway and impose a 20% charge on all cargo ships to pay for the cost of safety and security. Earlier, Iran's military said it would not allow the U.S. to interfere in the management of the key shipping route. Meanwhile, the U.S. and Iran have continued to exchange strikes. U.S. Central Command CENTCOM said overnight it had hit a submarine and Iranian ship maintenance facility in response to Iran targeting commercial ships in the strait. Meanwhile, Iran says it is continuing talks with mediators from Qatar, Pakistan and Oman in an effort to prevent any further escalation in its war with the United States. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Ismail Baqei also added that Tehran would use all means at its disposal to defend its national interests.
ما برای تأمین منافع ملی و امنیت ملیمون از هر ابزار و روشی که لازم باشه استفاده می‌کنیم. میانجی‌ها بله کارشون تداوم مساعی جمیله برای جلوگیری از تسعیر تنش هست و طی این روزهای اخیر هم با هم قطر هم با عمان که خب ما جلسه ای رو برگزار کردیم و هم با پاکستان ما در ارتباط بودیم و این تماس‌ها ادامه داره.
In other news, the European Union suggests a gradual, phased approach to children's and teenagers' access to online platforms following recommendations from an expert report. President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, said that a world in which big tech continued to have unrestricted access to children would only consign another generation to greater mental harm.
Here, so if we start with the youngest, toddlers, no screens at all. Then children under the age of 13, access to social media only under the supervision of parents, caregivers, teachers, and time limited. And then from the age of 13 on, and that's very important, there's a gradual access depending on the proof given by the platforms that they are age appropriate and safe for teenagers.
Moving on, Russia and China have begun the Joint Sea 2026 naval exercises in the Yellow Sea, according to footage released by Russia's defense ministry, as the two countries deepen military cooperation amid heightened geopolitical tensions. The annual drills held since 2012 involve naval fleets from both countries operating near China's coast and underscore the growing strategic partnership between Beijing and Moscow. The exercises come as Russia continues its war in Ukraine, with closer military ties between the two powers drawing scrutiny from Western governments. The maneuvers also highlight expanding defense cooperation between the two nations as they seek to strengthen coordination in the maritime domain. About 30 people have gathered at terraced rice fields in Mai Prefecture, central Japan, for an annual scarecrow marking event. Maruyama Senmaida is a scenic agricultural landscape in Kumano City where more than 1,300 rice paddies wind across a mountainous area. It has been named one of Japan's top 100 terraced fields. A program to help paddy field owners preserve the beautiful landscape has been introduced. The owners and their families fashioned 9 scarecrows by putting use of the clothes on wooden frames and stuffing them with straw. They completed their creations by drawing faces of their choosing. A large-scale copper artwork jointly created in southwest China's Yunnan province was officially recognized by Guinness World Record as the world's longest variegated copper bas-relief. Measuring approximately 32 meters in length, the bas-relief was crafted over 166 days by a team of 68 artisans using the nationally recognized intangible cultural heritage technique of variegated copper craftsmanship. The work replicated the famous Chinese hand-scroll painting along the river during the Qingming festival by the renowned artist Zhang Zeduan from the Song dynasty. Variegated copper bas-relief is a traditional metalwork art from native to China's Yunnan. Time for sports update. But before that, let's move on to the business updates.
Oil prices have jumped amid the latest outbreak of hostilities between the United States and Iran over the Strait of Hormuz. Brent crude, the main international benchmark, rose more than 4% on Monday as the US and Iran traded attacks amid their escalating standoff over control of the critical waterway. Brent futures for September delivery stood at $78.82 a barrel as of 8 o'clock GMT, the highest since June 22nd. The US Central Command CENTCOM said on Sunday that it had carried out dozens of strikes on Iran to degrade its ability to attack vessels in the strait, hours after striking hundreds of targets in the country. U.S. President Donald Trump's financial disclosures show that even as he and his two eldest sons were encouraging investors to plow their money into crypto projects, which resulted in steep losses for retail buyers, his money managers were investing a significant portion of the proceeds into safer harbors. Trump received more than $1.4 billion last year from his family's crypto projects, including World Liberty Financial and the Trump meme coin. His latest financial disclosures filed with the U.S. Office of Government Ethics show the president held between $703 million and $2.6 billion in such traditional financial instruments at the end of 2025, compared with between $225 million and $608 million at the end of 2024. Chinese lifestyle platform Xiaohongshu, also known as Red Note in English, is reshaping China's tourism sector by influencing how consumers discover destinations and plan trips. The platform has fueled the growth of Dhaka tourism, where travelers visit trending locations primarily to capture and share photos on social media. The trend has created new opportunities for tourism businesses, local attractions, and service providers seeking to attract digital-savvy visitors. Historic locations such as Shirchahai in Beijing have benefited from increased online visibility, with businesses and tourism operators catering to visitors seeking photogenic experiences, including traditional costume photography around the scenic lake area. The shift shows how digital platforms are becoming powerful drivers of consumer behavior, influencing where people travel and how businesses market tourism experiences. Turkmenistan has entered the peak season for melon harvesting, with farmers and agricultural producers increasing operations as demand for the country's fruit production rises. The harvest season is a key period for the country's agricultural sector, supporting local markets, trade activity, and rural employment. Melon production remains an important part of Turkmenistan's farming economy, with growers focusing on quality, supply, and distribution during the peak period. The seasonal harvest also highlights the role of agricultural exports and domestic food production in strengthening the country's agribusiness sector.
Now to sports update. Two Nepali judo athletes are set to compete in the Asian Cadet and Junior Judo Championship in Amman, Jordan from July 16 to 19. Bishesh BK will participate in the men's under 66 kg category, while Sabin Kumar Diali will compete in the men's under 60 kg category. The Nepali team departed for Jordan today, led by team manager Prakash Chandra Pandey and coach Kabiram Kharti Magar. Nepal Judo Association Chair Deepak Harsa Vajracharya is also part of the delegation. Executive Committee member of the National Sports Council, Sika Suwal Shrestha, bade farewell to the Nepali team amidst a function organized in Kathmandu today and wished for the success of the players. As we enter the final week of the FIFA World Cup, the four remaining teams prepare for the high-stakes semi-finals. Now, can the two-time world champion France lift its third trophy, or the European champion Spain win the second World Cup? Though the first semi-final features two of best teams in the world, only one of the two European giants will have place in the final. Here's a report.
3 European teams, Spain, France, England, and one South American team, Argentina, they are staking claim on the coveted trophy ahead of Tuesday and Wednesday's semi-finals. All 4 will play 2 more matches each, with the only question whether the second match will be the final or the third place playoff. Kylian Mbappe's France continues its quest for the World Cup title, facing Lamine Yamal's Spain in a blockbuster semi-final. Many are seeing the first semi-final at Dallas Stadium in Arlington, Texas, the United States, as the virtual final. Two-time world champion France is the front-runner to add another one to the tally, while the European champion Spain on the other side, offering a prospect of the biggest match so far of the 2026 World Cup. History is within touching distance for France, that can become only the second European nation to play 3 successive World Cup finals after West Germany. But standing in France's way is a slick and sturdy Spain, the familiar foes with whom they share a storied rivalry. France topped Group I with a perfect record of 9 points, winning against Norway, Senegal and Iraq. They thrashed Sweden 3-0 in the round of 32 before beating a stubborn Paraguay side 1-0 in the last 16 and sailing into the semi-finals with a dominant 2-0 win over Morocco. Spain topped Group H with 7 points, beating Saudi Arabia and Uruguay and drawing with Cape Verde. It began the knockout campaign with a 3-0 thrashing of Austria in the round of 32 before beating Portugal 1-0 with a late goal in an Iberian football derby in the round of 16. Irrespective of the result, the first semi-final, scheduled for Wednesday morning Nepal Standard Time, is going to be the biggest match so far of the 2026 edition.
Now the weather updates, first from Nepal and then across the world. And before wrapping up, here's the reminder of our top stories once again. Monsoon rains trigger floods and landslides across Nepal. 2 killed in Kalikot district. Authorities urge caution. Nepal completes largest ever data migration. Personal details of over 10 million Nepalis transferred to new passport vendor. 213th Bhanu Jayanti being celebrated, commemorating pioneer poets' contributions. Speaker Aryal lauds his role in raising literary consciousness. Heavy rains and flash floods in Bangladesh leave 51 dead. Most fatalities reported in Cox's Bazar, Rohingya refugee area. At least 28 killed after fire engulfs a bar in Thailand's Bangkok. Electrical fault in air conditioner linked to the incident. And FIFA eyes 64-team World Cup expansion. Chief Infantino says move to allow more nations to chase global glory. That's it for today's news edition of NTV World News Hour. Do join us through our social media and get the latest update from nepaltelevision.com for more information and news. I am Ipulagi Singh Lama. Thank you for watching. Good night.